start the configuration, and I think you have taken the printout of this material and it is ready with you. See, as a part of configuration, first we have to map the enterprise structure or the organization structure of your client company into SAP. Actually, Roni, I don't have your mail ID. That's why I did not send you. So I will let you know my mail ID, right? Then just to test mail me, I will send the material today after the class. And one more thing, Satya said that you are looking for simple finance, right? As for HANA simple finance. Okay. So here for learning as for HANA simple finance, first you have to learn FICO. Without learning FICO, you cannot learn as for HANA simple finance. That's why if you want to start your career in SAP, first you have to start with the FICO. Without FICO, it's not at all possible to learn CS for HANA Simple Finance. Okay, thinking that I think you did not send me the mail. Okay, so please send me the mail today after the class. I will send you the material to you. Okay, Roni. And if you have any questions at the end of the class, you can discuss with me. Okay, Roni. Okay. Now, see here, as a part of the configuration, first we have to start with the company. If you see the step number 1.1, company. So what is company? First we have to understand the meaning of company in SAP. So here, see, you take any company. Every company will have some number of departments, some number of plants, and some number of branches, and so on. So these are called organizational units in the company. And one organizational unit is linked with the other organizational unit in some way or the other way. I'm coming. See, here, every company will have some number of organizational units like branches, manufacturing plants, then departments, etc., etc. So these are called organizational units in the company. And one organizational unit is linked with the other organizational unit in some way or the other way. So this relation is called enterprise structure or organizational structure. So this enterprise structure is separate for every module. For FI, a separate enterprise structure is there. For MM, separate enterprise structure is there. SD, PP, HR, like that. For each module, it will have its own enterprise structure. In the real time, the respective functional consultants will create the enterprise structure for the respective modules. A FI consultant will create the FI enterprise structure, and MM consultant will create the MM enterprise structure, CO consultant will create CO enterprise structure, and so on. So here our module is FICO. And in FICO, first we start with FI. So once FI is completed, we start with CO. So the main purpose of FI is, FI means financial accounting. So the main purpose of financial accounting module is to prepare the financial statements, that is profit and loss account and balance sheet. So the main purpose of financial accounting is to prepare the P&L account and balance sheet according to the legal requirements of the country in which we are doing the business. So that is the main purpose of financial accounting component. Now, from the viewpoint of preparing P&L account and balance sheet, you take any company in the world, right? You have at the top, you have the group. One second. So you take any company in the world for the purpose of preparing financial statements. At the top, you have the group. So group means you will have some number of individual companies. So like individual company 1 and individual company 2. It seems that somebody has. Chandrasekhar, can you please mute yourself? Yeah, thank you. So, group means it will have some number of individual companies. For example, individual company 1, individual company 2, individual company 3, individual company 4, and so on. So, a group can have any number of individual companies. So, every individual company may be carrying on business in different geographical areas. Like, for example, individual company 1 is carrying on business in Washington, California, New York. Then, individual company 2 is also carrying on business in Washington, California, New York, New Jersey, Houston, etc., etc. So, this is the general enterprise structure for any company in the world for the purpose of preparing financial statements. It is very important for the purpose of preparing financial statements only. Now, if you translate this general enterprise structure into real time, let us say group means GE group. So here the assumption is the GE group of companies have purchased the SAP software from SAP company. Now it wants to use in its business. So we are going to configure as a FI consultant, we are going to configure this FICO software to the GE group of companies. Now, under the GE group, you have some number of individual companies like GE Infotech Incorporation, GE Paper Mills Incorporation, GE Real Estate Incorporation, GE Technologies Incorporation. Like that, a GE group may have any number of individual companies. Now, this GE Infotech Incorporation is carrying on business in Washington, California. Then GE Paper Mills Inc. Incorporation is also carrying on business in Washington, New York, New Jersey, California, etc. So this is the real enterprise structure for GE group of companies for the purpose of preparing financial statements. Now you have to translate this enterprise structure into SAP. So group is always called company in SAP. Group is always called company in SAP. And these individual companies are called company codes in SAP. Then the geographical areas in which the company codes are carrying on business are called business areas. So here company code and business areas are called organizational units in financial accounting. So as a starting point of configuration, the FI consultant has to create a company code and business area. So what is the meaning of the company now? As I said, company always represents group. So at the company level, we can prepare the consolidated financial statements. Consolidated financial statements means some of the financial statements of GE Infotech Incorporation and GE Paper Mills Incorporation. That is called consolidated financial statements. So the definition of company is purely optional. Definition means creation. In the normal terminology, we call it as creation, but in SAP terminology, that is called definition. So the definition of company is purely optional because here, please remember one point. If any reporting is legally required, that is mandatory. But if any reporting is required according to will and wish of the management, then that is called optional. So in any country, there is no any legal requirement that we have to prepare and present the financial statements at the group level. It's not legally required. But if the group management wants to know the consolidated financial status, then only we have to create a company. That is the meaning of the company. So for each object, here company is called one object. Means at the time of creating company, we have to give one identification. So that identification can contain up to 6 characters, and it is alphanumeric. So alphanumeric means we can use numbers, characters, and combination of both. and a company can have any number of company codes. Logically speaking, company represents group. Group can have any number of individual companies. Individual companies means company codes. So that is the meaning of the company. So here, mapping the enterprise structure into SAP means creating the organization units of your client company in SAP. That is called mapping the client enterprise structure into SAP. So that is the meaning of the company. So I explained this company, right? Then this explanation is documented in your notes. Company. I have written this explanation in your notes. Company represents the group. It contains up to 6 characters. It is alphanumeric. The definition of company is optional. A company can have any number of company codes. So that's how every concept. First, I will explain with the help of the presentation. Then after that, that explanation is documented here in the notes. Now you have to create the company. So for that, first we have to log into SAP. See here, some of you I have provided SAP access, right? Others did not mail me whether I don't know whether they have installed SAP GUI or not, right? So if you have installed the SAP GUI, please mail me. I will send you your user ID and password today. Okay. So we have to log into SAP servers now. For that, double click on SAP logon icon, and this is the server we require. Select the server, click on login button, and client is 800. User is I am entering my user ID Lakshman, and I am entering my password. Then English logon language English. So click on enter. After entering all this information, you just click on enter. Now you have logged into SAP. Okay. Now, in order to create the company, we have to access one screen. So for that screen, I have given the path here, and this is the transaction code. So you can use either path or transaction code. You can use either path or transaction code. Now, here we are going to cover the consultant training and the end user training in our classes. So as a consultant, first we develop some settings. After settings are developed, we post some transactions as a end user. Then we will see the output, we will see the reports, everything. Now, how do we know which activity we are performing as a consultant and which activity we are performing as an end user? See, I will tell you one rule, right? For any screen, if the path starts with the SPRO, for any screen, if the path starts with the SPRO, then you can take it granted that that is the job of the consultant. Because SPRO is the transaction code for IMG screen. And yesterday I told you that IMG screen is completely used by consultants. I hope it's clear. So for any screen, if the path starts with the SPRO, that is the job of the consultant. And if the path starts with something else other than SPRO, that is the job of the end user. That's how we can remember, right? Now, so SPRO is the transaction code for IMG screen. Okay. So the transaction code is always to be entered in the command area of SAP Easy Access. And we are in SAP Easy Access only. And this is the command area. So here you just enter SPRO, then click on enter. So SPRO always implies clicking on SAP reference IMG also. This is SAP reference IMG. Click on this. Now you have logged into IMG screen. After SPRO, we have enterprise structure. So this is called enterprise structure folder. You just click on this. Then that is opened into subfolders. Now, after enterprise structure, we have definition. This is the definition subfolder. Click on this. So after definition, if you see the material, financial accounting is there. So this is the financial accounting subfolder. Click on this. So after financial accounting, we have defined company, right? So this is defined company. So against the defined company, you are noticing one clock-like symbol, right? This clock-like symbol is called execute symbol. So whenever you notice the clock-like symbol, after that there is no path. You have to click on that clock-like symbol. So define company. Now, already some companies were created in this system by some other students, already old students. Now we are going to create a new company. So in our class, I am going to take you throughout the total accounting process in SAP. Then at the end of FI, I will show you the balance sheet and P&L account. So here we are going to create a new company. For that purpose, if you see the material, click on new entries. This is called new entries button. Now, in order to create the company, we need to provide some information here. And these fields I have typed in your material. These fields I have typed in material, right? So every day in the class, you have to write something against these fields, right? So for the company, we have to give an identification, right? That identification can be anything. Means it is also alphanumeric. So company name is equal to 3366 LG. See, you have to write it now in your material. Company is equal to 3366 LG. It is the identification for the company. Company is equal to 3366 LG. You have to write it in the material now. Company name is equal to LG group of companies. You have to write it like this now. Company name is equal to LG group of companies. Now, city is equal to, yes, these are the financial statements, right? That is P&L account and balance sheet. So these financial statements are to be submitted to register of companies. In India, I'm talking register of companies. Then stock exchange boards, because if you are a listed member in the stock exchange, you have to submit your financial statements to the stock exchange. And if you have taken any term loans, you have to submit the financial statements to the banks and income tax authorities, your sales tax authorities, etc., etc. And these financial statements, yes, P&L account and balance sheet and other statements, right? Notes to the balance sheet is also there. Okay. So these two statements are to be submitted to these legal authorities. Okay. And in India, we prepare the financial statements according to Schedule 6 of Companies Act 1956. And the recent Companies Act is 2013. Okay. Now, clear, Anil? So city is equal to Washington. Please write down the material. City is equal to Washington. Means the GE group of companies headquarters are situated in the Washington city. Country is equal to US. Means the group is basically operating from USA. So we have to give the identification for the country. If the group is basically operating from India, then we have to enter the identification for India. If the group is operating from Denmark, you have to enter the identification for Denmark. If the group is operating from Germany, we have to enter the identification for Germany. So how do we know the identifications for the countries? Look at the screen, please. Here, if you click on this button, the system will display the list of countries. So you can see here 235 entries found. Means 235 countries were defined in the system. And it's not necessary to remember the identifications for the countries, right? So from the list, you can see the you can take identification. Suppose if the group is basically operating from Bangladesh, we have to enter the identification for PD. If the group is operating from Switzerland, you have to enter the CH. If the group is operating from China, CN. Denmark, DK. Great Britain, GB. So India IN, Malaysia MY, then United States US. Like that, from the list, you can find the identification for the respective countries. Suppose, if you don't find the country you require in the system, you can create your own country. But how to create your own country, we will discuss later on because this is the first class only, right? That's what I'm telling Sunil, right? So if you don't find the country, you can define our own countries. But how to define our own countries, we will cover after some classes. Okay. But in most of the cases, almost all the countries have been defined in the system. So you can press on this F4, sorry, this button. Otherwise, just to keep the cursor and press F4 function key. And the same list of countries are also available in the real-time software also. And it's not necessary to remember the identifications for the countries. So country is equal to US, within brackets F4, within brackets F4. Language is equal to EN, EN for English. Language is equal to English. Then suppose, let us assume that we are going to configure for a company in Japan. Let us assume that that Japanese company wants to use Japanese language only. In that case, we have to enter the identification for Japanese language. So if you press on F4, you can see again the languages. 41 entries found. In the first class of navigation, I said the SAP software was developed in 41 international languages. So these are the 41 international languages. So if you want to use Japanese language, you have to enter JA. If you want to use Korean language, KO. If you want to use Malaysian language, you have to enter MS. Please remember, we cannot define our own languages. We cannot define our own languages. We can define our own countries, but not languages. But generally, in most of the cases, because now we are very much international, so generally we use English. Language is equal to N. I hope everybody is writing in the material because this is necessary for you to do the practice. These are your exercises every day. Currency is equal to USD. Currency is equal to USD. So here we have to enter the currency of the respective countries. Suppose, so again, how can we find the currencies of the respective current countries? Again, press F4. So already 218 currencies have been defined in the system. So if from the list you can select. And remember, it's not necessary to remember the list, please. Nobody will ask you what is the currency for any country, right? So it's only a general knowledge question, but not SAP question, right? That's why don't try to remember these list, right? So suppose again, if you don't find the currency you require, we can define our own currencies, right? Now, currency is equal to USD. Here in your material, you have some space here, right? Please write down there. We can define, we can define our own countries and currencies. We can define our own countries and currencies. But we cannot define, but we cannot define our own languages. We cannot define our own languages. Okay? Just 1 second. Yes. 1 second, please. Yes. So after entering all this information and see the material, click on save. So this is called save button. You can use Control S also. You can use Control S also. That is operating system shortcuts also we can use. Click on save. Now, after clicking on save, if you see the material, click on create request. So where is the create request icon? This is the first time you are using the software, right? So we don't know which icon is what. In that case, on every icon you see, right, just to keep the cursor for 1 or 2 seconds. Then the system will display the name of that icon. This is enter icon, and this is display object, and this is object attributes, and this is create request. So like that, for the first time you can find the icons. So once you start doing the practice for 1 or 2 days, then you will be able to remember the icons automatically. Okay, so click on create request. Then short description is equal to, here we have to enter the description of the activity, the description of the project. So short description is equal to FI configuration for LG group of companies. LG group of companies. FI configuration for LG group of companies. Then after that, FI short description is equal to FI configuration for LG group of companies. After that, click on save. So here again, this is the save button. In the total screen, you can notice only one save button in the highlighted mode. This button is grayed out, right? So this is the highlighted screen save button. Click on save. See, our description has been taken over here, and this is called request number. So this request number has got lot of significance in the real time. So what is this request number? We will discuss again after some classes. This is very important, request number. So this we will discuss after some classes. So from now onwards, whenever you get this small request box, just click on enter. This is called enter button. Otherwise, you can use the enter button in your keyboard. See, data was saved. I told you, there are 3 types of messages displayed on the status bar. First one is OK message, which is displayed in green color. So whenever you get this message, you can rest assumed that your setting is correct. If any error is there, the system will show you the error. So like this, every step I have given clearly in the material. So taking this as example, you have to create your own company in the system. That is the exercises. So every day I am going to show you some settings in the class, and you have to write the settings here. Then taking these as examples, you have to create the same settings in the system. So every day there is an exercise, and you have to do these exercises every day. This is called practicing the server. Then only you get the clarity. At the end of the class, today, I will tell you one procedure how to do the practice, right? You just follow that practice, you get a very good clarity of the subject. So that's how we have created company. Now, if you see the step number 1.2, define company code. Define company code. So what is, first let us try to understand. See, here the company code, every separate legal entity is called company code, or the individual company is called company code in SAP. Suppose if you take US context, every LLC, INC, and OPC. LLC means limited liability company, OPC means one person company, INC means incorporation. So INC, OPC, LLC, they are called company codes in US context. Then if you take India, every limited company and private limited company is called company code. Suppose for example, GE Infotech Incorporation is one company. GE Paper Mills Incorporation is one company. GE Technologies Incorporation, one company. GE Trading LLC, one company code. Now, if you take India, you have the Tata Group, right? So, Tata Group is called company. Then, Tata Steels Limited is one company code. Consultancy Services Limited, one company code. Tata Power Limited, one company code. Tata Tele Limited, one company code. Suppose you take Reliance. Reliance is a group, right? So, Reliance Industries Limited is a company code. Reliance Power Limited is a company code. Reliance Geo Limited is a company code. Like that, every separate individual company is created as company code in SAP. Then, at the time of creating the company code, we have to give an identification. Then, the company code identification can contain up to 4 characters. It is alphanumeric. Generally, in SAP, every object identification can contain up to 4 characters. Generally, that's why I am not going to repeat these 2 sentences from now onwards. Every object can contain up to 4 characters and it is alphanumeric. So these 2 sentences I am not going to repeat again, right, in every class. Okay. Now, here it is mandatory to define company code. So from now onwards, every setting is going to be done with reference to company code. So why it is mandatory to define company code? Because in every country, it is legally required to prepare and present the financial statements at the company code level to the government of that country. It is legal requirement. So whenever any reporting is legally required, that is called mandatory. And we can define any number of company codes. There is no any limit because a group can have any number of individual companies, means we can define any number of company codes. I hope it's clear. So again, this is documented in your notes. See, company code. It is the organizational unit in financial accounting for which a complete set of books of accounts are maintained for external legal reporting, that is, to prepare the legal financial statements. It is 4 characters ID and it is alphanumeric. And you write one more point here in the notes. Please add one more point. If you don't have the notes with you in the physical form, you can write here. You have one space, some space here, no? You have some space here, no? You can write it here. If the boundaries of a particular country is crossed, if the boundaries of a particular country are crossed, then we have to create a company code. Then we have to create one company code. We have to create one company code. Means what? Suppose, for example, LG group of companies, right? So basically, it is carrying on business in USA. Okay. Now, it wants to carry on business in India. So if you want to carry on business in India, being in US, you cannot go to India just like that, and you cannot start business just like that. First of all, we have to register ourselves under the Indian Companies Act. Means you have to take the permission from the Indian government, for which you have to submit number of documents. That is called registering under Indian Companies Act. So when you register yourself under the Indian Companies Act, it becomes a separate legal entity. So a separate legal entity means company code. Now again you want to carry on business in UK. So first you have to register yourself under the UK Companies Act. Means when you get yourself registered under the UK Companies Act, it becomes a separate legal entity. So a separate legal entity means company code. So for every business in a separate country, you have to maintain one company code. It's a rule, you can take it granted. That is how in the real time we can decide how many number of company codes you have to create. So every separate legal entity is to be created as company code, and also if they are carrying on business outside the home country, then also for that entity we have to create one company code. That's how we can decide in the real time how many number of company codes we have to create. Now, in order to create the company code, we need to access one screen, and for that screen, path is starting with SPRO. So it is also consultant activity. So SPRO is the transaction code for IMG screen, and the SPRO is to be entered in the command area of SAP Easy Access. So is this SPRO screen? Sorry, is this SAP Easy Access screen? No. So even if you enter SPRO, it will not work. See, nothing is happening. So that's why you have to prefix /n. So /n SPRO. So instead of thinking this much logic every time, right? You just to prefix /n for every transaction code, as simple as that. You just to prefix /n for each transaction code. And SPRO always implies clicking on SAP reference IMG also. Then after SPRO, you have enterprise structure again. This is called enterprise structure. After enterprise structure, you have definition. This is called definition. So after definition, financial accounting is there. So this is financial accounting subfolder. Click on this. Then after this, edit, copy, delete, check company code. This is called edit, copy, delete, check company code. Sorry. This one. Then if you see the material, double click on edit company code data. Yeah, we can see the transaction codes. Chandrasekhar, I will show you everything one by one, right? It is also covered, right? For that, you have to refer to the table. What is the table? First, we cover the tables. No problem. First, we cover the tables because you have to understand what is the meaning of the table in SAP. So, once you understand the table, then we will see the transaction codes. And there are some other ways to find the transaction codes also. Now, if you see the material, double click on company code data OX02. No, need not say sorry, Chandrasekhar. You have every right to ask the questions. No issues about it. So double click on edit company code data. This is called edit company code data. Then after that, click on new entries. See, in such a way, clear manner, right? I have given every step in the material. Click on new entries. Now for the company code, we have to give an identification. Let us say 3366. Please write down in the material against the company code 3366. Company name is equal to LG Electronics INC. Company name is equal to LG Electronic INC. City is equal to New York. City is equal to New York. Country is equal to US. Country is equal to US. Currency, see, look at the screen. In the currency field, you have one tick mark, right? So whenever you notice any tick mark in any field, that is called mandatory field. That is called mandatory field. So currency is equal to USD. Suppose if you don't enter the information in that field, you cannot create that object. So currency is equal to USD. Language is equal to EN. Language is equal to EN. Then what is there in the material? Click on save. Click on save, right? This is called again save button. So when you click on save, right, the system will take you another. So in this screen, we enter all the other details of the company code. So first let us do according to the material. Title is equal to company. If you see the material, right, title is equal to company. Here, look at the screen. This is called drop down menu. So if you click on this drop down menu, you can see the titles. Title is equal to company. Then country is equal to US. Then what are the other fields? Here you can enter the name of the company code. Suppose if the name of the company code is larger than the length of the company code name we have entered in the previous screen, you can enter the total company code name here. Then suppose if the name of the company code is larger than the length of these two lines, then what happens? Here, this is called more fields button. So on any icon, if you keep the cursor for 1 or 2 seconds, it will tell you the name of the icon, right? So if you click on this more fields button, system will add 2 more lines. So generally no company code will have the name larger than the length of these 4 lines. Let us assume still company code name is larger than the length of these 4 lines. In that case, what we do is only ABAP consultant can add the lines in the screen. Only the ABAP consultants can add the fields in the screens. So they can add it. We can send one request to him, he can add it. But generally that is not at all required. So once we enter the information here, if you click on this, this is called end more fields. End more fields, right? Click on this, that is closed. Then here, street address. You can enter the street name, house number, postal code, city. So here you can enter the address of the office of the company code. We can enter the office, the address of the registered office of the company code. Yeah, because see the question posted by Gadi. Here in the while he is asking here country is mandatory. Why not in the previous screen? Good observation. See, I will tell you. Company code creation is mandatory, right? Right? But the company creation is optional. That's why it is not mandatory there. Got it, Gadi? Yeah. Now, so here in the address street address screen, we can enter the total address of the company code, registered office of the company code. Suppose generally the address will be more than the larger than the length of these columns, right? In that case, again you click on this more fields button. See, here you can enter the total address of the company code. So once we enter the address of the company code, we can close it. Now here you can enter PO box number, post box number, post box code, postal code, then company postal code. After that, the communication information of your company code can be entered here. Telephone number, extension, mobile phone, fax number, extension, email address, standard communication method, and comments. So like that, all this information we can enter here. So in the comments column, we can enter, we can maintain the nature of the business of the company code, right? So like that, in the real time, we can maintain all this information. But here we don't have this information. That's why I am not entering this information. In the real time, who will give you all this information? The accounts department of the company code will provide all the information you require as a consultant. So we take that information from the accounts department and we provide that information in this screen. Now, whatever the information you enter in this screen, in this big screen, is printed by the system on the correspondence documents of your company code and all the official documents of your company code. For example, your letterheads, right? Then purchase orders, account statements. So on all the official documents of the company code, the system will print this address. Clear? So after entering all this information, if you see the material, enter. Click on enter, right? So click on enter. So whenever you get this request box, we just click on enter. You can use your keyboard enter button also. See, data was saved. So we have created company code. Suppose you have to create one more company code under the same group. In that case, this is called next entry button. So if you click on next entry button, right, every field becomes empty. Then again, for that company code, you have to give one more identification. One identification can be used only once in the system. You cannot use the same identification more than once. If you try to use the same identification, the system will give you error message. So you need not worry. Okay. You do one thing. Write down this point here in the material itself. To create one more company code, to create another company code, to create another company code, to create another company code, click on next entry button. Click on next entry button. Click on next entry button. Now, write one more point here. The company currency, the company currency and the company code currency can be different. The company currency and the company code currency can be different. Means, suppose your group is in US, so company currency is USD, and you are carrying on business in India. For the Indian company code currency will be INR. It's quite natural, right? So company currency and company code currency can be different. So this is the thing regarding company code, right? And one more thing here is, you have given the country US, right? So what is the impact of this country US? Whatever the country you enter in this country field is called home country of the company code. And the system considers every other country as foreign country. Then currency. The currency entered in this field is called company code local currency. And every other currency is considered by the system as foreign currency. And we have to prepare the financial statements in the company code local currency only. Logically think, you are doing business in US, so you have to prepare your P&L account and balance sheet in US dollars only. And you are doing business in India, you have to prepare the financial statements in Indian rupees only, right? That's why the currency entered in this field is called company code local currency. So in this currency only, we prepare the financial statements. Then language. This language, we have entered English language, right? So the language, in this language, the books of accounts are maintained. Your correspondence documents are printed. And your bank checks are printed when you are giving the check to vendors, right? So like that, this is the significance of these three fields. Don't worry, these I have given in your notes again. See, country. The information given in this field is called the home country of the company code, and every other country is considered by the system as foreign country. Then currency. The currency entered in this field is called company code local currency. Every other currency is treated by the system as foreign currency, and this information is used by the system in identifying the foreign currency. The financial statements are prepared in the company code local currency. Like that, every field I have given very clearly. So you can go through the notes. Now, see the step number 1.3. Assign company code to company. Means what? Assigning means what? Here, we have created company in separate screen and company code in separate screen. We know LG Electronics in, yes. See, you know that LG Electronics Incorporation is part of LG Group. We know, but how the system knows? That's why within the software, you have to provide the link between company and company code. This is called assignment, right? Right? Please put heading in the notes. You also have to keep the notes with you in every class. Put heading in the notes. Assignment. Assignment. Providing the links between the two objects. Between the two objects. In the software, is called assignment. Providing the links between the two objects in the software is called assignment. So object means nothing. Company code is called one object and company is called one object, nothing else, right? So we have to provide the link between company and company code. That is the next step. Assign company code to company. Path is SPRO, means /n SPRO. Enterprise structure. After that, we have assignment, then financial accounting, then assign company code to company. So this is the company code field, right? So our company code will be there somewhere in the list, right? So you have to click on position button. See, click on position. This is called position button. So this position button is very similar to search button, nothing else. So click on position, company code. What is our company code? 3366. So company code is equal to 3366. Click on enter. See here, our company code 3366 has been taken in the first line. So against this line, you have the company, right? So company is equal to 3366 LG. So you have linked company code with the company. Click on save. So whenever you get this request box, just click on it. This is how in today's class we have completed company code, and we have assigned company code to company. Now whoever have got the server access, they can also start the practice. And others, please install the SAP GUI as soon as possible, and please give me mail. I will send you the user ID and password. Okay. Then now you can start the practice. For doing the practicing means here, for example, today we have created a company. So you also have to create one company in the system. So here we can use any name or anything. You can use you can use your name also, right? So you create one company, you create company code, then you assign company code to company. That is the exercises for today's class. Now here I will give you one procedure just to try to follow the procedure. It's very, very simple. So first you create one company, right? Then you create company code. Then you assign company code to company. Okay. Now again, you create one more company with a different name. But before creating second company, right? Read the notes. What is the meaning of the company? Why we have to create a company? Try to understand the notes. Then you create second company. Okay. Then after that, you create second company code. So before creating second company code, again read the notes. So what is the meaning of the company code? And What is the use of the company code? Then in the company code, we are giving some information, right? Currency, country, etc. So what is the significance of these fields? Read the notes, try to understand, then create the second company code. So like that, you create two sets. Create one company code, and assign the first company to first company code. Create one more company code, and we assign second company code to the second company. So every day, so we always develop the configuration settings at the company code level, company code only. So every class settings you do in two company codes. But doing the settings in the second company code, read the notes, listen to the recording if necessary, right? Then you do the settings in the second company code. If you do the practice like this, you get subject. In SAP, how is not important. How to create a company code is not important. I'm talking about from the entry point of view. How to create a company code is not important. Why we have to create a company code? That is important from the entry point of view. So that's why first in our class, I'm explaining why concept. Then I'm showing you how concept in the screen. So if you proceed like this, if you follow the procedure like this, you get excellent clarity of the subject. Then at the end of the classes, I will send you the interview questions, right? And other material necessary for you to get the job, right? Within 2-3 months. I will send you a lot of documentation also, real-time documentation. In the projects, we have to prepare a lot of documentation. So what is the documentation, how they look like? So all these materials I will be sending to you. Okay. But the thing is, and it's only advice, right? Don't take it in a wrong way. It's only advice I'm giving you. And one more thing here is, you require, see, if you want to get the job, right, in SAP, you have to do two things. One is, please attend the classes regularly. Even though I'm sending the recordings, right, listening to the live class is very effective, right? So attend the class regularly. Of course, sometimes you may have some work, right? In that case, taking the leave is inevitable. In that case, take the leave. But anyhow, I will be sending the recording now. So immediately go to the recording and get the on par with the class. Now, first one is, attending the class regularly is important. Then the second one is, you have to do the practice of every class on the same day itself, right? So if you follow these two things, right, theoretically also you get good knowledge. Then you get the job within 2-3 months of the completion of the classes. Why I'm telling you 2-3 months? Because you have to prepare some other materials. You have to prepare some other interview questions, which I will send you. Don't worry about it, right? That is how you have to proceed in the class. Sorry, that is how you have to proceed in the practice. So remaining things we will see tomorrow. See, our classes are Monday to Friday, USA days. But it is from Tuesday to Saturday in India. If you are in India, our classes are from Tuesday to Saturday. If you are in US, classes are from Monday to Friday. So tomorrow also we have the class. Then Akhil, you have any questions? Akila, sorry. Akila, you have any questions?
No, sir, I'm good.
Okay. Anil, I will come to you, Gadi. I will be coming one by one, right? Whenever I come to you, you can ask the question. I will come according to the alphabetical names in the list. Anil, you have any questions? Okay. Chandrasekhar? Okay. Now, Gadi, tell me. While defining company code currency, language and country required. So why can't we make it mandatory? No, we cannot make it as mandatory as a functional consultant. It is designed in the software itself, right? Some fields we can make it mandatory somewhere, right? But not in the company code creation. We cannot make the country and the current country and language. We cannot make them mandatory. It is designed defaultly in the software. You cannot change the software code. Roni, you have any questions? Yes. All these things I will be sending to you. Right? So if you want to learn simple finance, you have to continue in this class. After FSCO only, you can understand simple finance. And this is my mail ID, right? I'm typing the mail ID in the chat box. Please give me the test mail. I will send you all the material and recordings till now. Okay. My mail ID is, I have typed in the chat box. Just look at the chat box, Roni. Yeah. FSM is a financial supply chain management. It's a separate module like FICO. Srinivas, FSCM stands for Financial Supply Chain Management. Srinivas, you have
No,
any
sir.
questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Sunil. Sunil. Sunil, are you there? Tafiq, any questions? Okay then. Okay. Sorry. See you tomorrow, same time. Good night and good day. See, we are in the basic settings. Yeah, I will tell you. Anil. See, yesterday only we have started the configuration settings, right? So we have completed creation of company and define company code, then assign company code to company. So we have completed only these three steps in yesterday's class. Now today we start with the define business area. Then Chandrasekhar has posted some questions to me, right? I will explain these questions in the class today at the end of the session, okay? So that everybody also can understand his questions. So let us see the step number 1.4, define business area. So first I will explain what is the concept of business area in SAP. See, business area. It is an organizational unit in financial accounting that divides the organization based on the area of activity or line of activity. It is an organizational unit in financial accounting that divides the organization based on the area of activity or line of activity. Area of activity means geographical area of activity. So what is the division of enterprise based on geographical area of activity? For example, we are carrying on business in Washington, New York, California. So this is called geographical division of enterprise. So we are carrying on business in Washington, New York, California means what? We are having the branches there. So generally, the branches of the organization are created as business areas. Generally, the branches of the organization are created as business areas. And it is also the division of enterprise on the basis of line of activity. Line of activity means what? Under the same name of the company code, right? Under the same name of the company code. For those who joined today only, company code means every separate legal entity is called company code in SAP. Tata Steels Limited is one company code. Tata Power Limited is one company code. Tata Chemicals Limited is one company code. Like that, every individual company is called one company code. This is just for your understanding for today's class. So, under the same name of the company code, we are carrying on business in these three activities. Number one, textiles manufacturing. Number two, paper manufacturing. Number three, chemicals manufacturing. This is called line of activity. So, whether a branch of the organization can be created as business area or line of activity can be created as business areas. So, whatever may be the criteria you use to create the business areas, what is the purpose of the business areas? For each business area, we can create the P&L account and balance sheet. So this P&L account and balance sheet can be used by the management for the internal analysis purpose. Means what? See, for example, you have defined your business areas on the basis of geographical area of activity. Means for each branch or for each business area, you can create the P&L account and balance sheet. So with the help of the P&L account, we can find the profit for Washington branch, for the New York branch, for California branch. Then what is the use of this business area P&L account? These can be used by the management for the internal analysis purpose. Means, for example, Washington, your total profits are 100 crores. Your total profits are 100 crores. Then, based on the business area financial statements, you can come to know that Washington business area has made a profit of 70 crores. Then, New York business area has made a profit of 30 crores. Then, California business area has made a profit of 20 crores. But you have one more business area, New York. But the New York business area has made a loss of 20 crores. So this information is visible with the help of the business area financial statements. So actually you are performing very much well, but the New York business area is making a loss of 20 crores. So the performance or the profits of the other business areas or the profits of the other branches are eaten away by New York business area. That's why your profits have become only 100 crores. Suppose if the New York business area is also making profits, right? In that case, your profits would have been increased by more than 20%. So these business area financial statements can be used by the management for internal analysis purpose. Now during the analysis, the management come to know that, okay, the New York business area is making a loss of 20 crores. Sorry. In this case, the management has to take the corrective action to make the branch of New York running into profits. Suppose if the management thinks that it's not at all possible to make the New York branch running into profits, then it can take a decision to close this New York branch. So by just closing this New York branch, your profits are increased by 20% next year with the same performance levels. So this is how the management can take a decision. To take this decision, they need business area financial statements. So with the help of the business area financial statements, they can identify the branch which are earning more profits, or if any branches are making losses, they can also identify them, and accordingly they can take the action. This is called internal analysis. One more example. See, with the help of when you create textiles manufacturing, paper manufacturing, or chemicals manufacturing as the business areas, then we can find the profit for each line of activity. So this year the management wants to introduce some additional capital. So this additional capital can be introduced in which activity? The activity which is earning more profits to the company. So for this purpose, for this decision making purpose, they want to know what are the profits for each line of activity. In that case, we can use the business area financial statements. So that is the use of the business area financial statements. So here, the definition of business areas is purely optional. As I said yesterday, if any reporting is legally required, that is mandatory. But if any reporting is required according to will and wish of the management, then that is called optional. So in any country, it is not legal requirement to report at the branch level. It's not legally required. But if the management wants to see the performance for each of the branches, then only we have to define the business areas. And we can define any number of business areas. There is no any limit. But my question here is, I told you that the business areas can be defined on the basis of geographical area of activity or line of activity. So in that case, which criteria we have to use? I will tell you different scenarios. Okay. Suppose, for example, we are carrying on business only in textiles manufacturing. We are carrying on business only in textiles manufacturing, And this activity we are carrying on in Washington, New York, and California. In that case, each geographical area will be created as business areas. That is one scenario. One more scenario is we are carrying on business only in Washington, but in Washington, we are carrying on business in textiles manufacturing, paper manufacturing, and chemicals manufacturing. This scenario generally will not exist in the real time because every company wants to expand like anything, right? So no company will restrict itself to a particular geographical area. But theoretically, let us discuss. So if this is the case, each line of activity will be created as business area. Okay. Then the actual scenario is like this. We are carrying on business in Washington, New York, California. So in these three geographical areas, we are carrying on business in these three area of activities, in these three line of activities. In each branch, in each geographical area, we are carrying on business in these three activities. In that case, actually this is the real scenario. So in this case, the management wants to know the profit for each of the geographical area and also for each of the line of the activity. So how to meet this requirement? Please remember, generally we create the business areas either on the no, generally we create the business areas first on the basis of geographical area only. So when you create each geographical area, you can find the profit. Then each line of activity is created as profit centers. Is created as profit centers. So when you create the profit center, you can identify expenses and revenues and balance sheet items for each profit center. Then we can prepare the P&L account and balance sheet. So for each profit center again, you can find the profit. That's how we can meet the requirement of finding out the profit for each geographical area and finding out the profit for each line of activity. But what is profit center? We will discuss later on. Now, here I told you that we can we can prepare the P&L account and balance sheet for each business area. For that purpose, the system needs to identify expenses, revenues, and balance sheet items. So how these expenses, revenues, and balance sheet items are identified in the business areas? At the time of posting every business transaction, it is mandatory that the user has to enter the business area. Suppose, for example, today we are posting rent payment. At the time of posting that rent payment, if the user means employee or accountant, if the user enters the business area Washington, then that is identified with the Washington business area. And if the user enters the business area New York, that is identified with the New York. If the user enters the business area California, that is identified with the California business area. That's how the system will be able to identify the expenses, revenues, and other balance sheet items for the business areas. So this is the concept of business area. This is the concept of business area, right? Now let us see how to define the business areas. One second. Yes. See the material. Define business area. So first let us log into the system. And see the path. Path is starting with SPRO. So it is also the job of the consultant. So SPRO. And SPRO implies clicking on SAP reference IMG also. SPRO, enterprise structure, then definition, Then after definition, you have financial accounting. So click on this financial accounting. After financial accounting, we have define business area. This is called define business area. Click on new entries. So for each business area, we have to give one identification. Business area is equal to 3366. Here, everywhere I will use the company code identification only, because throughout FICO classes, we are going to define number of objects. So for every object, we have to give one name. So if you use your company code name, it is easy for us to remember the identification of every object. If you use different names, it is difficult for you to remember the object names while doing the practice. That's why everywhere and wherever it is possible, I will use the company code identification only. Now write down in the material, business area is equal to 3366. Description is equal to Washington branch or Washington business area. So in our class, in our material, we have defined only one business area. Suppose if you want to define number of business areas, just look at the screen. 336A, New York, then 336B. Just like that, I am using 336A, 336B, then California. So like that, you can go on defining any number of business areas, right? Click on save and enter. That's how we can define any number of business areas. Okay, so this is the concept of business areas. Now, here for today, I am closing the session with this business area only, because I have to provide the server access to some of you, right? So if I complete number of steps, they may feel difficult in starting the practice. So by today evening or tomorrow evening, I will provide the server access to them. So they will start the practice and they can be on par with the other students in the class. So this is generally what I do. In the fourth class, I take only half an hour. That is, in fourth class, I take only business area concept. Now, the next topic is fiscal year variant. This fiscal year variant will take 1 hour class to explain you. That's why I'm closing the session. That is also the reason for closing the session with the business area. But before closing the session, Chandrasekhar has posted some questions. So first let us take the fourth question, right? What is company postal code in address box, right? Here, let us go to our company code. I will explain you what is asking. So yesterday we have created company code, right? So this is the address screen. In the address screen, he is asking PO box number. He understands PO box number. What is postal code and company postal code? He is asking the difference between these two, right? Am I right, Chandrasekhar? Chandrasekhar, are you there? I think you are asking the difference between, postal code and company postal code. Now, here, for example, if you enter the post box number 100, right, then postal code means it is the postal code of your post box area. Suppose your post box 100 is situated in some other area. So you have to enter the postal code of that area. And company postal code means it is the postal code of your registered office of the company code. Because in the area where your registered office is situated, there is no post office. So the post office was situated in a different city or in different area. So in that post office, you are having the post box number. Got it? So generally, postal code of the post box and company postal code will be same generally. Okay, this is clear, Chandrasekhar? Okay. Now, one more question he posted is, you told that if you cross the boundaries of the country, we will create a new company code. But as you told that Tata company or Reliance are in the same country. Let us take an example. Tata Consultancy, Tata Steel, Tata Docomo, etc. etc. Here, for each separate legal entity, we have to create a company code. And also, if the boundaries of any particular country are crossed, then we have to create company code. For example, you have to take these two criteria into consideration. You take Tata Group. So Tata Group is having Tata Consultancy Services Limited. It's a separate legal entity. So we create one company code. Tata Steels Limited, one company code. Tata Power Limited, one company code. Tata Docomo, one company code. Now, this Tata Steels Limited is operating one branch in US, right? So means it is the Tata Steels Limited is carrying on business in USA. So the boundaries are crossed. So if you want to carry the business outside India in any particular country, first you have to register yourself under the Companies Act of that country. Then it becomes a separate legal entity. So you have to create company code. That is the meaning behind that. Every separate legal entity is to be created as company code. And also, if you cross the boundaries of any particular country, then also you have to create one company code. Now it should be clear. Suppose, for example, you have the TCS India. You have the example TCS India, right? It is one company code. Then TCS America, one company code. Got it, Chandrasekhar?
Sir, but here Tata Consultancy, Tata Steel, and Tata Docomo are in the same country, no, in India only.
Yes.
So these are branches at present or different company codes in India?
Different company codes in India.
How to?
Because let me tell you, because Tata Steel has to report that for the Tata Steels Limited as a whole. Tata Docomo has to prepare a separate financial statement. Tata Consultancy has to prepare a separate financial statement. So
here I have, sir.
So
as they are not
company, 1 second, let me complete. Every limited company or private limited company is created as company code. That's the rule. You can take it granted.
Okay.
Got it? Okay.
Little varying, sir.
Sorry?
A little doubts are still not clear.
Tell me what is your doubt?
No, if now Tata Consultancy, Tata Steel, and Tata Docomo are in the same country. They have not crossed any boundaries.
Yes.
But as you told, every individual company has to file as per Companies Act of 1956.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now these three are independent companies only, no?
Yes.
In India?
Yes, yes.
They have not crossed the borders.
Okay.
But line of activity is different.
Yeah.
When you, as per the business area.
Yes.
So they can be considered as business area or individual company code. That is
individual company code.
Now
individual company code. Right? Because Tata Consultancy is a separate legal entity. Means Tata Consultancy will have its own articles of association, own memorandum of association, right? Similarly,
yes,
Tata Steel will have its own memorandum of association and articles of association, right?
Yes.
So they are separate company codes. Now, Tata Consultancy is having the branches in Hyderabad, Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi. So these will be your business areas for Tata Consultancy. Tata Steel also doing business in Chennai, Mumbai, Hyderabad. These will be the business areas for Tata Steel. Got it till now?
Yes,
Clear?
sir.
Now, let me extend. Tata Consultancy is basically registered under Indian Companies Act, right? It's a separate company code. Now, this Tata Consultancy wants to carry on business in USA. For that, it has to take the permission from the USA government, for which purpose they have to file lot of documents. Means they will be registered under the US Companies Act. Then it becomes a separate legal entity, Tata Consultancy America. Clear?
Yes, sir. Out of boundaries, I could understand.
The country
Since we are crossing
no. You are
government to
crossing the
government, we
country.
need to.
See, what is the basic country? India, right?
Yes, in India only I'm asking.
No, you see, when you're carrying business within India, right, there is no question of crossing the boundaries.
Yes, it is not crossing border.
Yeah. But separate legal
Then
entities
how?
are there. No. See, Tata Consultancy, Tata Steel, Tata Docomo, even though they are within the India, but they are separate legal entities. Tata Consultancy will have its separate board of directors. Tata Steel will have its own board of
Yes.
directors. Tata Docomo will have their own board of directors. So separate legal entities. So we have to create 3 company codes in this case, even though they are in the same country,
Okay, sir.
right?
Thank you, sir.
Coming to postal code for New York, it starts from 10,001, Washington from 20,001. So while trying to enter the postal code 5 digits, the system is asking to enter the 6 digits. There is one concept, country specific settings, right? So I will show you these country specific settings later on. So in the country specific settings, somebody have changed in the country specific settings, we can specify that how many number of digits should be there in the pin code, how many number of digits should be there in the telephone numbers, how many number of digits should be there in the bank account numbers. So all these things we can define in the country specific settings. So these country specific settings we will deal later on. Yesterday I told you, we can define our own countries and currencies. At that time, we will see how to define the country specific settings. But in this particular server, somebody has changed the pin code length to 6 digits. That's why it is asking to enter you 6 digits. Nothing else. Please enter that 6 digits for the time being. Okay. Then later on we can change it. Got it, Chandrasekhar? Yeah. Now, Akila, you have any questions today? Today or from the previous classes? Okay. Anil? Chandrasekhar, any more questions? Okay, Anil. Okay, Chandrasekhar.
No, sir. Thank you.
Gadilingam. Okay. Jarisha. Jarisha, I will send you the recordings of the first 3 classes. Actually, this is the 4th class. Okay. I will send you the recordings of the previous 3 classes. And this weekend, you listen to these 3 recordings and you can be on par with the class by next class. Our next class is on Monday, USA day. And Indian day is Tuesday. So in India, the classes are from Tuesday to Saturday. In US, it is Monday to Friday. Manoj, you have any questions?
Lakshman, actually, how the business area and the business, the company code are tied, actually?
Yeah, good question. Here,
Aren't the same?
yeah. See, here, business areas cannot be assigned to any company code. Business areas cannot be assigned to any company code because suppose you have the 2 company codes. Let us say Tata Consultancy Services and Tata Steels Limited. So Tata Consultancy Services and Tata Steels Limited, both the company codes are carrying on business in Hyderabad. In that case, if you assign the Hyderabad business area to one company code, another company code transactions cannot be posted. That's why business areas can never be assigned to any company code. Even if you want to assign, there is no screen available. But in that case, how the system will identify expenses and revenues? At the time of posting every business transaction, the user has to enter company code and business area. Both the information he has to enter. Suppose you have the TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, and Tata Steels Limited. Both the company codes are carrying on business in Hyderabad. Today we have paid rent. Then we enter the transaction to system. At the time of entering this transaction in the system, the user enters Tata Consultancy Services Limited and Hyderabad. Then that will be taken to the Hyderabad branch of Hyderabad business area of Tata Consultancy Services. If the user enters the company code Tata Steels Limited and business area Hyderabad, then that will be posted to Hyderabad branch of Tata Steels Limited. Clear, Manoj? Yeah. Roni, you have any questions? Okay. Sunil?
Yeah,
Okay.
hello.
Yeah, Sunil. Any
Yeah,
questions?
these Tata Consultant, Tata Consultancy, Tata Steel, and Tata Docomo, they are treated as business separate cost centers.
Cost centers is a separate activity, right? Cost centers is a separate organizational unit in cost center accounting of controlling, right? They cannot be treated as separate cost centers. But how to design the
Okay.
cost centers in this case, we will discuss in
If I take,
controlling.
if I
Yeah,
currently, if I take my company also, in our company, each department is treated as a separate cost center. So
exactly.
I'm little bit confused with this branches and cost center.
Okay. For example, you take Tata Consultancy Services, right? So in the Tata
Yeah.
Consultancy Services is a company code. So it is carrying on
Okay.
business in Hyderabad, Chennai, Mumbai. So these are business areas,
Oh,
right? Now, in
okay.
Hyderabad business area, you have the administration department, you have the
Yeah.
packing department, right? So,
Yeah.
administration department of Hyderabad business area is one cost center, packing department of Hyderabad business area one cost center. And for others, forget about cost centers. Don't worry, we have the separate topic on cost center accounting on these cost centers. Just to for the understanding of Sunil, I'm explaining. Then in Mumbai business area, we have the sales department and administration department. So administration
Okay.
department is created as one cost center and the sales department is created as another cost center. That is the difference.
Okay. 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 We need to give separate codes for each
Cost
branches
center.
together.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Thanks.
And Tafiq, you have any questions? Okay. Okay, then see you on Monday, USA Day, and Indian Day, Tuesday, same time. Good night and good day. Happy Dasara to everybody once again. Have a nice
Thank you, Vishnu.
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You're
Very
welcome.
nice.
Chandrasekhar, just 1 second. Chandrasekhar did not log into the voice meeting. Let me put the message to him. See, in the previous class, yeah. Anil, did you install the SAP GUI? Okay, I will send you today after the class. Or at least by maximum by today evening, I will send you. See, in the previous class, we have seen up to step number 1.4, define business area. Now we will see step number 2, fiscal year variant. Please put heading in the notes. Put heading in the notes, please. Variant. Variant. It is an object. It is an object for which some values are defined. It is an object for which some values are defined. When this object is assigned to another object, Teja, we are doing step number 2 in the basic settings material. As a part of it, I am dictating the notes. When this object is assigned to another object, then the values are also applicable to the other object. This is called variant principle. The variant principle is widely used in SAP. So what is the variant principle? What is the advantage of this? You can understand at the end of the topic. That is the meaning of the variant. Now put heading fiscal year. Put heading fiscal year. It is also called accounting year. Accounting year is a period of 12 months. Accounting year is a period of 12 months for which the organizations generally prepare the financial statements. The accounting year may be the calendar year. The accounting year may be the calendar year or non-calendar year. Now, look at the entries. Here, fiscal year is nothing but your accounting year. So, accounting year means you take any company in the world. Generally, they have to prepare the financial statements for a period of 12 months. So, this period of 12 months is called accounting year, and that is called fiscal year in SAP. So why I'm telling you generally, because in some cases we prepare the financial statements for more than 12 months, and in some cases we prepare the financial statements for less than 12 months. But generally in 99.999 cases, always the business enterprises have to prepare the financial statements for a period of 12 months. This 12 months is called fiscal year or accounting year. So this accounting year may be the calendar year. Calendar year means January to December. So this is followed in the case of US companies. Then it may be non-calendar year. Non-calendar year means it may be April to March, or it may be July to June, or it may be October to September. So April to March means starting from the period of April, starting from the April of current calendar year and ending with the March of next calendar year. July to June means starting from the July of current calendar year and ending with the June of next calendar year. Then October to September means starting from the October of current calendar year and ending with the September of next calendar year. So in any case, generally it contains 12 months also, even in the case of non-calendar year. So for example, in India, we use April to March. Why? Because we have one Indian Income Tax Act 1956. Indian Income Tax Act 1961. So that Income Tax Act clearly specifies that every business entity has to maintain the books of accounts for a period starting from April to March, and for that period we have to prepare the financial statements and taxable returns, and we have to submit them to the income tax department. That's why every business enterprise in India, they maintain the books of accounts for April to March. Like that, every country will have their own legal enactments. So that legal law will clearly specify which fiscal year they have to follow. So based on that, the companies in that countries have to follow that fiscal year. So I will explain the fiscal year both from Indian perspective and also US perspective. So first I will explain the fiscal year variant from Indian perspective, Indian companies. So in India, the current fiscal year is called 2017 and 2018. Means it has started from April 2017 and it will end with March 2018. So generally this is called the year 2017-2018. But in SAP, the accounting year 2017-2018 is represented with a different concept. See, the year 2017 and 2018 is called the fiscal year 2017. Similarly, the year 2018 and 2019 is called the fiscal year 2018, and the year 2019 and 2020 is called fiscal year 2019. Means here, at the time of posting the transactions, generating the reports, etc., the user has to enter the fiscal year number. So in that case, he cannot enter 2017-2018. He can enter only 2017. So in SAP, the fiscal year is represented with the calendar year in which the more number of months are falling. Again, I'm repeating. In SAP, the fiscal year is represented with the calendar year in which the more number of months are falling. For example, 2017-2018 means April 2017 to March 2018. So April 2017 to December 2017, 9 months are falling in the calendar year 2017. So it is represented with the year 2017. Similarly, in the year 2018-2019, right? April 2018 to December 2018, 9 months are falling in the calendar year 2018. That's why this is represented as year 2018. So in SAP, in the case of Indian companies, whenever you say fiscal year 2017, we have to understand that it contains the periods or months starting from year 2000, April 2017 and ending with March 2018. And when you say fiscal year 2018 in SAP, we have to understand that it contains the periods starting from April 2018 and ending with March 2019. That's how the fiscal year is represented in SAP. Then, so as I said, the current fiscal year is 2017. So it contains the periods from April 2017 to March 2018. So we call them as months in the normal terminology. We call them as months. April is 1 month, May is 1 month, June is 1 month. But in SAP, each month itself is called a posting period. So in that case, April 2017 is called first posting period of fiscal year 2017. May 2017 is called second posting period of fiscal year 2017. June 2017 is called the third posting period of fiscal year 2017. Based on the same logic, December 2017 is called ninth posting period of fiscal year 2017. Then January 2018 is called, sorry, once December 2017 is over, we enter into January 2018. So January 2018 is called 10th period, February 2018 is called 11th period, and March 2018 is called 12th posting period. That's how 12 months are completed. I hope till now it's clear for everybody. Now, okay, 31st March 2018 is over. Now we have to prepare the financial statements. But before preparing the financial statements, we have to carry on number of adjustments. We have to carry on number of adjustments. Like what? For example, you are producing and selling 10 types of finished products. You are using 50 types of raw materials. And we are using 20 types of packing materials. We are using 40 types of stores and spares. And you are having 5,000 customers. So for the purpose of preparing balance sheet, we have to, for the purpose of preparing balance sheet and P&L account, we have to evaluate the closing stocks of all the 10 finished goods, 20 packing materials, 40 stores and spares, right? Then 50 raw materials. And this year, the trade conditions are very, very bad. So we are expecting that some of the customers may become bankrupt. In that case, we will not be able to receive the dues from the customers. So we have to provide for bad and doubtful debts. For that purpose, you have to analyze the payment history of all the 5,000 customers. So based on the payment history, right, you have to provide some amount for reserve for bad and doubtful debts. So all these activities are called adjustments. So unless you carry on adjustments and if you prepare the P&L account and balance sheet, there is no useful. They are not useful. So in order to carry on these adjustments, we require some time. You have to evaluate all the finished goods, work in progress, raw materials, everything we have to evaluate. So for that, we require some time. That's why after the close of the fiscal year, in SAP, we have the facility to carry on adjustments up to 4 months immediately after close of the fiscal year. Means in the case of Indian companies, 4 months are there to carry on adjustments. That is April 2018, May 2018, June 2018, and July 2018. So you can carry on adjustments in the up to July 2018. Up to July 2018. So after 31st July 2018, it's not possible to carry on any adjustments. So what does it imply? You have to be ready with your final financial statements by 31st July 2018 in the case of Indian companies. So here the periods 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. These are called normal periods. And April 2018, May 2018, June 2018, and July 2018, they are called special periods. They are called special periods. So in this case, April 2018 is called 13th period, May 2018 is called 14th period, June 2018 is called 15th period, and July 2018 is called 16th period. So the normal posting periods are used to post the daily business transactions. And the special posting periods are used to make the adjustments to the books of accounts for the purpose of preparing financial statements. The normal posting periods are mandatory and the special posting periods are optional. Means we can go with 0 special periods. Means I don't want to use any special periods. That is possible. But when you don't use any special periods, you cannot make any adjustments, and you have to be ready with your final financial statements by 31st March 2018. And if you want to use only one special period, in that case, you will be able to make the adjustments up to April 2018. If you want to have two special periods, you can post the adjustments up to May 31st, 2018. 3 June 2018. July up to, sorry. If you want to have four special periods, you can post adjustments up to 31st July 2018. But even though the special periods are optional, every client company prefers to have all the four special periods because it is always useful to have as many periods as possible to make the adjustments. That's why, technically speaking, the special periods are optional, but every client company prefers to have all the four special periods. And one more thing is, whenever you post any adjustments in any of the special periods, these adjustments are posted on the last day of the fiscal year, previous fiscal year. When you post any adjustments in any of the special periods, these adjustments will be posted on the last day of the last posting period of previous fiscal year. In this particular example, the adjustments are posted as on 31st March 2018. So here, the special periods are not the extension of last period. They are the integral part of last period. You can see the diagram here. 13, 14, 15, 16, they are part of the 12th period. That's why when we post any adjustments in any of the special periods, these adjustments are posted in the last period of the previous fiscal year. Now, here I got one doubt. I will tell you what is that. For example, March 31st 2018 is over, right? Now, immediately next fiscal year starts, 2018. Means April 2018 to March 2019 fiscal year starts. Then we are using four special periods. We are using four special periods, and this month is June. So let us say today is 3rd June 2017. Sorry, 2018. Today is 3rd June 2018. I hope till now the situation is clear to everybody. Now, I am posting one business transaction today. So this business transaction may be related to current fiscal year 2018-2019, or it may be related to previous fiscal year as an adjustment. In that case, how the system can understand that whether this business transaction is related to current year or it is related to previous year as an adjustment? I hope the situation, the doubt is clear to everybody. If anybody wants, I will explain again. Okay, fine. So for this, at the time of posting every business transaction, the user has to enter the period number. It is mandatory that the user has to enter the period number. So in this case, if the user enters the period number 3, then the system understands that, okay, this is the business transaction related to current year 2018-2019. Because April is the first period, May is the second period, June is the third period, normal periods. But if the user enters the period number 15, then the system understands that, okay, this business transaction related to previous year as an adjustment. That's how, and that adjustment is posted by the system on 31st March 2018 in this particular example. That's how, with the help of the period number, the system can differentiate between the normal business transactions posted in the normal periods and also adjustments posted in the special periods. periods. So the important point we have to remember here is the special periods immediately follows the last posting period. The special periods immediately follow the last posting period of the fiscal year. There cannot be any gap between last period and the first special period. So this is the concept of fiscal year in the case of Indian companies. Now let us try to understand in the case of US companies. So US companies, they use calendar year only as fiscal year. So calendar year and fiscal year both are same in the case of Indian companies. Sorry, US companies, I'm sorry. So in US, fiscal year is 2017 and calendar year is also 2017. Means it contains the periods from January 2017 to December 2017. In that case, January 2017 is called first posting period of fiscal year 2017. February 2017 is called second posting period of fiscal year 2017, and March 2017 is called third posting period of fiscal year 2017. Similarly, based on the same lines, December 2017 is called 12th posting period of fiscal year 2017. So 12 months are completed. Again, in the case of US companies, after December 31st, 2017, we have to prepare P&L account and balance sheet, for which again you have to make a lot of adjustments. For that purpose, we have these 4 as special periods. In the case of US companies, January 2018, February 2018, March 2018, and April 2018 is called special periods. Special periods, right? So 1 to 12 are normal periods, and special 13, 14, 15, 16 are called special posting periods. Now, this is the case in the case of US companies. And some companies in some countries, they use October to September. So it is a little bit different, right? Let us take that example also. October to September. Say for example, October to September means for example, October 2017 to September 2018. In this case, fiscal year is 2018. Fiscal year is 2018, right? Because October 2017 to September 2018 means in the calendar year 2018, more number of months, that is 9 months are falling, right? That's why this is called fiscal year 2018. Similarly, if you have October 2016 to September 2017, this is called fiscal year 2017 in the case of the companies or the countries who are using this October to September, right? So in the case of, so according to these companies, we are in the September 2017 for those companies. Then for these companies, special period starts from October 2017, November, December, then January 2018. It is a little bit confusing, right? That's why I told you that the fiscal year is represented with the calendar year in which the more number of months are falling. So this is the concept of fiscal year variant in the case of companies who are using October to September. October to September, right? Now, so what exactly is the fiscal year variant? We have seen what is fiscal year, but what is fiscal year variant? I told you that variant is an object for which some values are defined. See, in the fiscal year variant, we define the number of normal posting periods and the number of special posting periods. That's why that is called variant. How many number of normal periods you want to use and how many number of special periods you want to use. That is defined in the variant. That is called fiscal year variant. So here, the normal posting periods are used to post the daily business transactions. The special posting periods are used to carry on the year-end adjustments to the previous books of accounts. Then, for the purpose of general ledger accounting, why I am telling you, for the purpose of general ledger accounting, please remember, the maximum number of normal posting periods are 12 and the maximum number of special posting periods are 4. So, the total maximum number of posting periods are only 16 for the purpose of general ledger accounting. Why I am telling you for the purpose of general ledger accounting? Because there are some scenarios wherein there can be 366 posting periods. Every day itself is considered as one posting period. That is necessary in the case of special purpose ledgers, right? And that is also called parallel ledgers also. What is this? We will discuss in new GL concept, right? So we have to understand that for the purpose of general ledger accounting, the maximum number of total periods are 16. I told you that generally the number of periods are 12. Generally the accounting year contains 12 months, but in some cases it is less than 12 months. In some cases it is more than 12 months. I will give one example. In India, we have to prepare the financial statement from April to March. Okay. Now, this is 2017, right? So we have started one company in January 2017. We have started one company in January 2017. Let us say 1st January 2017. In that case, we have the option to close the books of accounts for January 2017, February 2017, March 2017. So for 3 months, you can close the books of accounts and you can prepare P&L account and balance sheet. From then onwards, you can use April 2017 to March 2018, April 2018 to March 2019 and so on. This facility is given only one time. Otherwise, you can prepare the financial statements up to 31st March 2018. Even though you have started your business on 1st January 2017, you can close your books of accounts by March 2018. In that, from after March 2018, you have to use April to March again, April 2018 to March 2019. So only for the first time, you can prepare the financial statements for 15 months. January 2017 to March 2018 means 15 months. So 3 months less than 12 months, right? 15 months, it is more than 12 months. So this facility is given to the companies only one time, right? So these are the scenarios wherein we can use the number of periods less than 12 and sometimes more than 12. They are called year-dependent fiscal years and also shortened fiscal years. So there are some other concepts like year-dependent fiscal years, shortened fiscal years. These concepts also we'll discuss after some time. So it is mandatory that, so this is the meaning of the fiscal year variant. So in the fiscal year variant, in short, we define how you specify, simply speaking, you specify how many number of normal posting periods you want to use and how many number of special posting periods you want to use, nothing else. So it is mandatory that every company code should be assigned with one fiscal year variant. Without fiscal year variant, it's not possible to post even a single business transaction to your company code. That's why it is mandatory to assign one fiscal year variant to the company code. For that purpose, already some fiscal years have been defined in the system. Already, some fiscal years have been defined in the system. But if necessary, we can also define our own fiscal year variants. For example, these are the sum of the system defined fiscal year variants. Let us say V3, April to March, which contains 12 normal and 4 special periods. Then K3, calendar year, 12 normal and 3 special periods. K4, calendar year, 12 normal and 4 special periods. So like that, in the system, in the software, already the fiscal year variants, almost according to the requirements of all the countries in the world, have been defined in the system. So here V3, K3, K4, they don't carry any meaning. That is the name of the object for which some values are defined. What are the values? These are the values. For V3, these are the values. For K3, these are the values defined. For K4, these are the values defined. That's why they are called variants. So this is the concept of fiscal year variant. Now let us see how to maintain the fiscal year variant. So first let us log in.
Lakshman, this is Manoj. I have one question.
Tell me, Manoj.
Yeah, say for example, if a company is listed in stock market, right?
Yep.
So they have to report every quarterly, okay?
Yep.
Say for example, January to March, okay?
Yes, yes.
So in the so if they want to report the results, right? They cannot do adjustment. Then how does it work in that scenario?
See, here there is one concept. There are some activities which are carried on at the every month end, right? So quarterly financial statements and monthly financial statements and half yearly financial statements, right? They need not do any specific adjustments because these adjustments are taken care as part of the month end activities. But the adjustments are to be done, right, at the end of the year. And also monthly financial statements and quarterly financial statements and half yearly financial statements, they are called provisional financial statements, right? So the provisional financial statements are accepted. Generally, we never make any adjustments for the monthly, quarterly, half yearly financial statements, right? But suppose, for example, this is October, right? So we are preparing financial statements for the month of September, okay? But you have to do some adjustments. For example, in that case, your fiscal year is not closed. Still, we are in the fiscal year 2017, October, right? But if you want to make adjustments in the September, you can post the transaction in the September by opening the September posting period. This is done in the posting period variant. So for the purpose of preparing monthly financial statements, quarterly financial statements, and half yearly financial statements, there is no concept of special periods. Special periods are used only for the purpose of closing the year. Got it?
Okay, yeah.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Srinivas.
Yes, sir. Whatever the transactions whatever the transactions we are posted in special periods, it will come to present fiscal year or previous fiscal year. Sir.
Previous fiscal year.
So now you are posted. Just now you are posted on 3rd June 2017. It is a special period. June is 15th period, I think. Hello.
Yeah, I'm listening to you, Srinivas.
Yes, sir. You are posted on the 3rd June 2017. June means a special period, 15th period.
Yeah.
So it will, whatever the transactions you are posted on 3rd June, it will come into 2017 or 2018, sir?
See, it depends on the period you give. See, if it is adjustment to the previous year, you enter the period number 15, right? Suppose if it is the business transaction relating to current year, you enter the period number 3. So if you give the period number 3, that is posted in the fiscal year 2018. But if you give the period number 15, that is posted to the previous year.
Okay.
Got it? No?
Yes, sir, I got it. But where to mention that 15 is
We have not. I have not yet shown you, right? In the, for example, I think already you have learned a little bit SAP. In the transaction code F-02, you post the transactions, right? In the transaction code F-02, you post the transactions. So if you go to
yes,
F-02, there you can find the period in the document header column, right?
yes, sir.
So you have
Yes,
one
sir.
column period. So there you enter the period number.
Okay.
That is Gadi. That is called, yeah. That is called first calendar year. Gadi is asking one question. Just look at that. If six periods fallen under one calendar year, then that is represented to the first calendar year. Okay. For example, July to June, July 2017 to June 2018, right? So in that case, 6 months are falling in 2017 and another 6 months are falling in 2018. In that case, first calendar year is taken to represent the fiscal year. So July 2017 to June 2018 is also called fiscal year 2017. And see the material. I hope I have sent the material to everybody, right? If anybody did not receive the material, please let me know. I will send again. Define fiscal year variant path, SPRO. So it is also job of the consultant. SPRO, financial accounting, global settings, fiscal year, maintain fiscal year variant. See what I have written in the material. No action required, just to identify which fiscal year variant you want to use for your company code. So here, these are the fiscal year variants which were already defined in the system. For example, if you are in India, right, we have to use April to March. So for that, we have V3. See, April to March. Number of posting periods 12, number of special periods 4. Suppose if you want to use K4, suppose if you are in US, we have to use January, December. And in addition to January, December, I want to use 4 special periods. See, K4, 12 posting periods and 4 special posting periods. You have V6. V6 means July to June. V9 means October to September. So like that, almost all the posting period, all the fiscal year variants were defined in the system. But suppose if you don't find the fiscal year variant you require, how to define? We will discuss later on. That topic is also covered later on. So in the step number 2.1, you need not do anything. Then still the step number 2.2, assign company code to fiscal year variant. Path is same as above. Path is same as above. Or you can use the transaction code OB37. So whenever you see that path is same as above, you have to click on back arrow. This is called back arrow. You have to go on clicking on back arrow till you reach IMG screen. One second. Till you reach IMG screen. See. Again, I am executing the transaction code to show you. So we are in this screen. I told you path is same. Then you have to click on back arrow. Now assign company code to fiscal year variant. See, the data is locked by Arun and can be displayed only. Do you want to display locked data? Right? See here, this message is given by the system when multiple users are trying to access the same screen. So there is one user, Arun. So he is doing the practice with fiscal year variant. So he has accessed the screen first. Now I am trying to access the same screen. So for the second user, it is giving the message. So if you get this message like this, you have to unlock the screens. So how to unlock the screens, I will tell you in tomorrow's class. But now I am doing the unlocking screens. How to do this, I will show you in tomorrow's class. Now, see the material, click on position, click on position. This is called position button. Company code is equal to 3366. This is our company code. Click on enter. See, our company code has been taken in the first line. Fiscal year variant is equal to K4. If you are doing the practice with Indian company code, you enter V3. Click on save and enter. So today we have completed fiscal year variant. So tomorrow we start chart of accounts. Because chart of accounts takes nearly another half an hour, 35 minutes to explain. So time is not sufficient. So we will discuss this chart of accounts tomorrow class. Akila, you have any questions in today's class? Anil, you have any questions? Chandrasekhar, okay Akila. Chandrasekhar, okay Anil. Gadi, any questions? Okay. Then Himasailaja, okay Tafik. Manoj, okay Hima.
Hi, Lakshman.
Yeah,
I have
Manoj.
one question.
Yeah, tell me.
Say, how many years advance we can define the fiscal year in the system, or is it like
No.
we
You
need to?
cannot define any advance years, right? You can define only the current year. See, actually what happens is the calendar years were already defined in the software, right?
Okay.
So when you have the calendar year as your fiscal year, you can have up to 9,999 years. There is no limit. But when it comes to the question of non-calendar year, right, you have to define the period separately. In that case, we can define only 1 year ahead. That's it. I mean, only 1 year. That is current year only we define. Then automatically, the system automatically shifts itself to next fiscal years.
Okay.
Srinivas, you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Sunil. Teja, Tafik said he did not have any questions. Teja?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. And Teja, you can continue in this batch, and this is the link for every day. Okay?
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, then see you tomorrow same time. Good night and good day.
Hello.
Yes, Jerisha.
Yeah, sir. When I'm doing the company code, then it is saying the wrong. It is saying in the data was not saved. It is saying that.
What is this?
If I'm giving giving the 3366 LG, then it is saying the company code is already existing. It is saying like that. Sir.
See, what you have to do is you have to use the identification which was not already used. So 3366 is our, for example, in the class. So you have to use another identification. Then only it will accept.
Okay, sir. Is there any procedure to keep the company code to be remembered, sir?
No, you have to remember there isn't any procedure.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
See, in the previous class we have seen fiscal year variant. Now, chart of accounts. So first I will explain the concept of chart of accounts. Then we will see how to maintain the chart of accounts. Chart of accounts. It is the list of general ledger accounts used by the organization. Here, in the real time, every company code will use hundreds and thousands of ledger accounts like rent account, wages account, salaries account, share capital account, postage account, traveling expense account, etc. etc. All the GL accounts together is called chart of accounts in SAP terminology. So it is compulsory to define the chart of accounts before creating any general ledger master record. General ledger master record means ledger account. So before creating any ledger account, it is compulsory that we should define one chart of accounts, and that chart of accounts should be assigned to the company code. Otherwise, it will not allow us to create the GL account master records. So in the chart of accounts, for every GL account, it contains the information. The chart of accounts for every GL account contains the information like name of the GL account number, account group, maintenance language, etc. etc. So in short, the chart of accounts determines the structure of the GL accounts. The chart of accounts determines the structure of the GL accounts. That is the main function of the chart of accounts. So here in SAP, there are three types of chart of accounts. Number one, operating chart of accounts. So it is the list of all the general ledger accounts to which the daily business transactions are posted. And it is compulsory for every company code that it should be assigned with one operational chart of accounts. Means here, chart of accounts and operational chart of accounts both are same. When you say chart of accounts, it implies operational chart of accounts only. And when you say operational chart of accounts, it implies chart of accounts only. So it is compulsory that every company code should be assigned with one operational chart of accounts. Then during the daily management of the business, we incur number of expenses, number of revenues, and we receive some assets, right? We incur some liabilities of all these things. So during the daily management of the business, these business transactions are posted into the GL accounts of this operational chart of accounts. And the financial statements are prepared from the operational chart of accounts only according to the legal requirements of the country in which we are doing the business. So that is the purpose of this operational chart of accounts. Then we have another one, group chart of accounts. It contains a list of general ledger accounts used by the corporate group to prepare the consolidated financial statements, and its definition is optional. As I said, company represents the group. So the purpose of the company is to prepare the consolidated financial statements. So if you want to prepare the consolidated financial statements, then only we have to create a company. Similarly, then only you have to define group chart of accounts. So without a group chart of accounts, it's not possible to create the consolidated financial statements. As the company creation is optional, the definition of group chart of accounts is also optional. Then we have third one, country specific chart of accounts. It contains the general ledger accounts required to meet the country specific legal requirements. It contains the general ledger accounts required to meet the country specific legal requirements. Means what? Suppose, for example, let us take one example. See, our company code is 3366. So it is in US. Now, this company code 3366 has to prepare the financial statements according to the legal requirements of US Companies Act. For that purpose, we need to maintain some set of ledger accounts. So all this set of ledger accounts is called operational chart of accounts. For this operational chart of accounts, we have to give one name. Let us say ABC1. So this is operational chart of accounts. COA means chart of accounts. So this is the operational chart of accounts for the company code 3366. Now, this US company code is also carrying on business in India. So for the Indian entity, you have to maintain one more company code. So let us say that company code is 3377, that is in India. Now, because this company code is basically registered under the Indian Companies Act, it has to prepare the financial statements according to the legal requirements of Indian Companies Act. For that purpose, it needs to maintain some set of GL accounts. That set of GL accounts is operational chart of accounts for the Indian company code. For this operational chart of accounts, let us give one name XYZ1. So this is the operational chart of accounts for Indian company code. I hope till now it's clear for everybody. Now, majority of the share capital of Indian company code is held by US company code. So in this case, the US company code is called holding company code and Indian company code is called subsidiary company code. Now, in the US Companies Act, there is one legal requirement that if any US company is carrying on business outside US, that US company has to report to the US government on the operations of its foreign entity. Now, the US Company Code will ask Indian Company Code now to prepare its financial statements according to US Companies Act requirements also. Now you think as Indian Company Code. Indian Company Code has to prepare two sets of financial statements. One set of financial statements is according to Indian Companies Act, for which purpose we are using XYZ1 operational chart of accounts. Then it has to prepare another set of financial statements according to US Companies Act. So in order to meet the US Companies Act, what is the chart of accounts the US Company Code is using? ABC1. Now, this Indian Company Code also has to prepare the financial statements according to ABC1 chart of accounts also. In this case, ABC1 is called country specific chart of accounts. Here you may get some doubts, right? I will explain them. Please wait. Huh? So first you understand the concept of country specific chart. Now, again, let us assume that this US company code is also carrying on business in UK. So again, UK means it's a separate country, right? So we have to create one company code for the UK entity. Let us say that is 3388. So this is UK company code. So this company code has to prepare the financial statements according to UK Companies Act, for which purpose we are maintaining another set of GL accounts. Let us say that is PQR1. So this is operational chart of accounts for UK company code. Again, majority of the share capital of UK company code is contributed by US company code. Now again, the UK company code has to prepare the financial statements according to US Companies Act, for which purpose it uses ABC1. So ABC1 will be country specific chart of accounts for UK company code again. So in short, country specific chart of accounts means for the subsidiary company code, it is the operational chart of accounts of the parent company code if the parent company code and subsidiary company code are lying in the different countries. That is the concept of country specific chart of accounts. Now, here one doubt is there. In India, fiscal year is April to March, but in US, fiscal year is January to December. So how to maintain the books of accounts simultaneously for two fiscal year variants? That is possible, right? We can maintain the separate set of books of accounts according to multiple fiscal year variants at the same time. For that purpose, in SAP, there is one concept which is called parallel ledger accounting. And this is the part of new general ledger accounting. So using the parallel ledger accounting, you can maintain the books of accounts simultaneously according to different fiscal year variants, right? So how to configure for parallel ledger accounting, we will discuss later on in controlling. So that is one point. And one more thing is, here the user will post the user in the Indian company code will post the transactions only in the GL accounts of this operational chart of accounts. Then the GL accounts of these country specific chart of accounts are automatically updated. For that purpose, we need to link the GL accounts of country specific chart of accounts with the operational chart of accounts. This link we provide in the GL master records, where we will discuss, I will show you at the time of creating GL account master records in the general ledger accounting. At this point of time, to the extent what you have to understand is, what is the concept of country specific chart of accounts? Now, here a chart of accounts can be used by one or more company codes. See, when several company codes are using the same chart of accounts, the name of the account, general ledger account number and account group will be same in all the company codes. When several company codes are using the same chart of accounts, the GL account name, account number and the account group etc. will be same in all the company codes. Why? Because this is the information that is contained in the chart of accounts for every GL account. So when several company codes are using the same chart of accounts, the information contained in the chart of accounts will be same in all the company codes. But see, I told you the purpose, right? It is compulsory that we should use one operational chart of accounts, right, Anil? But if the need arises, right, if your share capital is owned by another company code which is lying outside your home country, then we have to use the country specific chart of accounts. Otherwise, country specific chart of accounts is not at all necessary. But we should use one operational chart of accounts. Now, here, when several company codes are using the same chart of accounts, whatever the information that is contained in the chart of accounts will be same in all the company codes. But to use the same chart of accounts for several company codes, some conditions must be satisfied. Number one, all the company codes should be in the same nature of business, and all the company codes should use the same fiscal year variant, or all the company codes should be lying in the same country. Why all the company codes should be in the same nature of business? For example, company code 1 and company code 2. We have two company codes. So company code 1 is in the textiles manufacturing and company code 2 is in the chemicals manufacturing. In that case, nature of GL accounts and structure of GL accounts can be same? No, because we maintain the GL accounts based on the nature of business. So when several company codes are in the different nature of business, we cannot use the same chart of accounts. In that case, each company code has to have its own separate chart of accounts. Otherwise, if the company code 1 and company code 2 are in the chemicals manufacturing, in that case, nature of GL accounts can be same in both the company codes, no? Then they can use the same chart of accounts. Similarly, all the company codes should be lying in the same country. For example, company code 1 is in India and company code 2 is in US, right? So generally we maintain the GL accounts according to legal requirements of the country in which you are doing the business, right? So in that case, we cannot use the same chart of accounts for Indian company code and US company code because the legal compliance is entirely different. So unless these two conditions are satisfied, we cannot use the same chart of accounts for all the company codes. I hope it's clear. So all this explanation I've given in your notes, don't worry, I will show you that. Then a company code can have two chart of accounts. Here, please remember, can have. If necessary, a company code can have only two chart of accounts. Otherwise, if there is no necessity, you can have only one chart of accounts, which is compulsory, and that is your operational chart of accounts. So this is the concept of chart of accounts. See, in your notes, I have given this. See here. Okay. Just to go through these notes before doing the practice. Now see the material. Define chart of accounts. So first let us log in. And while doing the class, right, don't do anybody practice, right? While I'm explaining the settings in the system, don't log in anybody into the system. SPRO. So it is also consultant setting. Financial accounting, general ledger accounting, GL accounts, master data, preparations, edit chart of accounts list. Click on new entries. So for the chart of accounts, we have to give one name. I am using the company code name only. So as I said, if you use the different identifications for different objects, it will be difficult for us to remember the identifications. That's why everywhere, wherever it is possible, we use the company code identification only. So chart of accounts is equal to 3366. Description is equal to chart of accounts for 3366. Chart of accounts for 3366. Maintenance language is equal to English. Maintenance language is equal to English. Length of GL account number is equal to 06. Length of GL account number is equal to 06. Within brackets, the maximum length of the GL account number, the maximum length of the GL account number is 10 digits. So here I told you that every GL account is identified with a number. So that number is called GL account code. So how many number of digits you want to have in that GL account number? That number of digits are defined here. So just like that I specified that 06. See, if you enter 06 here, we can create up to 9,99,999 GL accounts because the biggest number containing 6 digits is this number. See, even though we can use up to 10 digits, generally we never use that many number of digits. Generally, we use either 5 digits or 6 digits or 7 digits. Among 5 and 6 and 7, again, most common number of digits is 6. Suppose if you enter 01, you can create only 9 accounts because the biggest number containing single digit is 9. Suppose if you enter 02, we can create only 99 accounts. If you enter 03, we can create only 999 GL accounts. So the number of digits you specify here, will determine the number of GL accounts you can create. So generally we use 6 digits. Our class also have taken 6 digits. Click on save and enter. See the next step. What is this controlling integration? This we will discuss at the time of controlling. Then see the step number 3 point.
Hello.
Yeah, Srinivas. Your voice is very, very low, Srinivas.
Yes, sir. Sir, their group chat of accounts will be there, no, sir?
Yeah. See here, group chart of accounts. Actually, I want to explain you later, but anyhow. See, suppose you have the company. So for the company, you define the group chart of accounts. Then you have 3 company codes. And each company code is using their own operational chart of accounts. for the purpose of preparing the consolidated financial statements, right? In the operational chart of accounts of every company code, we have to assign the group chart of accounts. Then the operational chart of accounts of three company codes will be linked with the group chart of accounts, which is very much necessary for preparing consolidated financial statements. Clear, Srinivas?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And suppose if you select blocked, you cannot create the GL accounts in this chart of accounts. So blocking we will discuss in general ledger accounting beginning. Now, see the step number 3. Assign company code to chart of accounts. Path is same as above. So whenever you see path is same as above, click on back arrow till you reach IMG screen. Assign company code to chart of accounts. Click on position. Company code is equal 3366. Company code is equal 3366. Click on enter. Chart of accounts is equal to 3366. Chart of accounts is equal to 3366. Click on save. See here, for the company code 3366, chart of accounts 3366. So here CHRTACCTS means chart of accounts. Then you have CTY means this is country specific chart of accounts. So if you have the parent company code or holding company code lying outside US, and the operational chart of accounts of that company code has to be assigned here as country specific chart of accounts for company code 3366. So in any case, a company code can have only 2 chart of accounts. You don't have more than 2 chart of accounts fields here. Operational chart of accounts and the country specific chart of accounts.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Srinivas.
Hello.
Yes, Srinivas.
Sir, what about group chart of accounts? If, you are saying that only we can assign 2 chart of accounts for each company code.
See, group is different, boss, right? See, for group is different from company code. Company code is a separate legal entity, and for each company code, we can use only 2 chart of accounts. It's not my own statement, right? It is, you can observe this from the screen itself. You cannot assign more than 2 chart of accounts for a company code. This is for the purpose of company code. Then coming to group chart of accounts. Group chart of accounts is used to prepare the consolidated financial statements. For example, you have A company code, B company code, and C company code. So the sum of the financial statements of these 3 company codes are called consolidated financial statements. So for A company code, you define one operational chart of accounts. For B company code, you define one operational chart of accounts. For C company code, you define one more operational chart of accounts. Then in the operational chart of accounts of A company code, you assign the group chart of accounts. Then, for example, 4141 is also your company code under the group. So for 4141 chart of accounts also, you assign the group chart of accounts. Then 4242 is also your company code of the group. In that case, in 4242 chart of accounts also, we assign the group chart of accounts. That is the difference. We are not assigning the group chart of accounts to company code. We are assigning the group chart of accounts to the operational chart of accounts. Now, tell me, a company code can have how many number of chart of accounts? Only 2.
2.
Now clear, no?
Yes, sir.
Group chart of accounts, we are not assigning to company code. We are assigning to operational chart of accounts. Okay. Now, see the next topic. Define account groups. So, what is the account groups? First, let us try to understand the concept. Account groups. All the general ledger accounts of the organization are classified into different groups for the easy and convenient management of GL accounts. They are called account groups. And the GL account master records are created under the respective account. Here, in the real time, every company code will use hundreds and thousands of ledger accounts. For the purpose of easy and convenient management of all these ledger accounts, based on some common parameters, we group them together. So these are called account groups or GL account groups. And the individual GL accounts are created under the respective GL account groups. Means, suppose you have one shared capital group. Under the shared capital group, we create all the GL accounts related to shared capital accounts. Like that, based on some common parameters, we group the GL accounts together and they are called GL account groups. And as I said, the individual GL accounts are created under the respective groups. And one more thing is, every GL account is identified with a number. Every GL account is identified with a number, right? So, for this purpose, for every account group, we create and assign a number range. Number range means from number and to number. 100 to 200, this is called one number range. 1000 to 1200, that is called one number range. So in SAP, we use the number ranges very frequently. So range means always from number and to number. So at the time of creating the account group, we create and assign a number range for every account group based on the requirement. Then, at the time of creating the GL account, first we have to identify the account group under which the GL account is to be created, and from the number range of that account group, you have to select one number. That number should be given to GL account. That is one of the functions of the account groups. So the functions of the account group is to determine a number to be given to GL account master record. So based on the business requirement, we can define any number of account groups. We can define any number of account groups, but minimum there should be minimum 2 account groups. Means balanced accounts group and the profit loss accounts group. So all the GL accounts which are displayed in the balance sheet can be taken as one account group. Here I am using can be taken. It's not the principle or it's not mandatory. All the GL accounts displayed in the balance sheet can be taken as one account group, and all the GL accounts which are displayed in the P&L account can be taken as one account group. This is called similarity. What is the similarity? Being displayed in balance sheet and being displayed in P&L account. That is called similarity. Now coming to balanced account. If you take the balance sheet, you have two sides, liability side and asset side, right? In that case, if necessary and if the client requires, all the GL accounts which are displayed in the liability side of the balance sheet can be taken as one account group. And all the GL accounts which are displayed on the asset side of the balance sheet can be taken as another account group. Then coming to P&L account, we have the expenditure side and income side. So all the GL accounts displayed on the expenditure side of the P&L account can be taken as one account group, and all the GL accounts displayed on the income side of the P&L account can be taken as one account group. Otherwise, if the need arises or if the client requires, suppose if you take liabilities, on the liability side, how you have to classify your GL accounts? Classifying the GL accounts means under what headings you have to display your GL accounts on the liability side. For example, share capital. In that case, share capital can be created as one account group. Then, when you create the share capital as one account group, all the GL accounts relating to share capital are created under the share capital account group. Like what? Equity share capital account, preference share capital account, redeemable preference share capital account, irredeemable preference share capital account, then subscribed share capital, issued share capital, paid up share capital. Like that, all the GL accounts relating to share capital are created under the share capital account group. Clear? Then we can create reserves and surpluses as another account group. In that case, all the GL accounts relating to reserves are created under this account group, like general reserve, capital reserve, dividend equalization reserve, sinking fund reserve, revaluation reserve, dividend equalization reserve, investment reserve. So all the reserve related accounts are created under the reserves and surpluses account group. That's what I told you. The individual GL accounts are created under the respective account groups. Then accumulated depreciation can be taken as another account group. In that case, accumulated depreciation on plant and machinery, accumulated depreciation on furniture, accumulated depreciation on buildings. Like that, accumulated depreciation accounts on all the assets are created under this account group. Then secured loans. Secured loans can be created as one account group. In that case, debentures, term loans, and all the loans which are secured by the assets of the company are created under the secured loans. Then unsecured loans. The loans which are not secured by any assets of the company are called unsecured loans. And these unsecured loans accounts are created under the unsecured loans account group. For example, loans from the relatives of the directors, loans from the friends of the directors, loans from the directors themselves, etc. etc. Then current liabilities and provisions. So current liabilities and provisions can be taken as one account group. Like in that case, sundry creditors, expenses payable, then provision for different doubtful debts, then incomes received in advance. So all the GL accounts relating to current liabilities are created under this account group. Then coming to asset side, fixed assets. Fixed assets can be taken as one account group in that case. Then land account, buildings account, plant and machinery account, vehicles account, like that, all the fixed assets accounts are created under that account group. Then current assets, loans and advances. So sundry debtors, stock accounts, work in progress account, finished goods stock account, raw material inventory accounts, then expenses paid in advance, incomes receivables, like that, all the GL accounts relating to current assets are created under this account group. Like that. Then coming to expenditure side, raw material consumption can be one account group, personal cost can be one account group, manufacturing cost can be one account group, administration cost can be one account group, interest, depreciation. So you can have any number of account groups again. Then coming to income side, sales, other incomes, and increase or decrease of stocks. Like that, we can have any number of account groups. But how do we decide how many number of account groups you create? Always the best practice. Actually, we can say that it depends upon the client requirement. But sometimes we have to let us discuss. Anil, let us discuss. See, are you clear with the chart of account? Are you clear with the account groups? Okay, that's fine. Who will take the duty of the creation of GL accounts, right? We will discuss at the time of general ledger accounting, right? Because we will discuss everything at the relevant points. Now, tell me how many number of account groups you have to create. What I mean to say here is, first to concentrate, right? See, you might have worked with some of the transaction codes of the SAP, right? So forget about everything, whatever you know about SAP, forget about everything. Please be there in the class as if you don't know anything, right? Then only you will get something. When I'm explaining the account groups, it's only an advice I'm telling you. When I'm explaining the chart of account, account groups, if you're thinking about the GL master records, you are losing something in the account groups. It doesn't mean that you should not ask any doubts. What I mean to say is, you be along with me only. So you may be having some doubts in general ledger because already you have worked in the general ledger, you have taken the training somewhere. Like that, you may be having some this thing, right? But in my class, what I insist on every student is, whatever the things you know in SAP, forget about them. Because nobody will give you this much explanation. That is damn sure. And also, you are going to get a number of questions from this explanation only in the interviews. And please remember, it doesn't mean that you should not ask any doubts. You ask the doubts on the current topic. So when you can ask the doubts in the current topic, when you concentrate on the current topic. That is my way of explanation, right? That is the way of dealing with the class, right? Please remember, Anil, I never tell you that don't ask any doubts. You concentrate on the current topic, try to understand the current topic, then you come with the doubts with the current topic. We are going to cover very logically everything. And at the end of FI, right, I will show you the realistic P&L account and balance sheet. Yes. Now, in the real time, how do we decide how many number of GL accounts, how do we decide how many number of GL account groups we create? The best practice is to look into the balance sheet and the P&L account display requirements. Means how you have to classify your GL accounts on the liability side and assets of the balance sheet, and on the income side and expenditure side of the balance sheet. Based on that, if you create that many number of account groups, at the time of preparing financial statements, the work of the consultant will become very easy. So that is the best practice. But technically speaking, right, we can create any number of account groups, but minimum there should be 2 account groups. And one more thing, there is no concept of main group and subgroup. There is no concept of main group and subgroup. Here, just to make you understand, I have started from the highest level of accounting, balance sheet accounts and profit and loss accounts. Then I have started digging down to lowest level of account groups, right? Means you can have only these 2 account groups. You can have only these 2, balance sheet accounts and profit and loss accounts. Or you can have only these 4. Or you can have all the headings below this line as your account groups. There is no hierarchy. There is no main group and subgroup. So in our class, I am going to create this many number of account groups. Nearly 17 account groups I am going to create. So this is the concept of account groups. And one more thing here is, see, we can add the GL account groups during the fiscal year if the need arises. We can add any number of account groups during any fiscal year. Then we can also delete the account groups provided no accounts are created in that group. Means in any account group, if you have created some GL accounts, then it's not possible to delete them. It is not possible to delete the account groups. Right? So this
Sir, I have a doubt.
One second. Let me complete this. I will complete it. And here, the following are the functions of the GL account groups. Number 1, to control the number to be allotted to the general ledger master record created under the respective group. Then, to control the display of fields to be maintained in the general ledger master records created under the respective group. That is, whether every field is required or optional or displayed or suppressed. The first function you can clearly understand at the beginning of the general ledger accounting. And the second function you can understand at the end of the general ledger accounting, because we have a separate topic on this. Tell me.
Sir, if you have created liability is a group, you can't able to create share capital as a group, right?
Exactly. You are right.
You should not create liability group as a group.
Yes.
If you want to create a share capital, right, sir?
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
That's what I told you.
okay, sir.
Here, you can create only these 2 headings as account groups, or you can create only these 4 as account groups, or these headings.
Oh, got it, sir. You have used R.
Yes, R. Now let us see how to maintain the account groups. Path is same as above. Transaction code OBD4. See, define account groups. Click on new entries. Chart of accounts. See in your material, right? In the first column, please write your chart of accounts. Please write your chart of accounts. 3366, 3366. In every row, in the first column, you please write 3366, 3366 like that. So in our class, I am going to create these as account groups. Okay. Now, for every chart of accounts is equal to 3366 account group SCPL means for every account group you have to give one number. That number can be alphanumeric and it contain up to 4 characters. Just like that I have taken SCPL. Then name is equal to share capital. From account is 1 lakh to 1 lakh 99. So why from account to 1 lakh? I told you, every GL account is identified with a number, and in our chart of accounts, you defined that the GL account number can contain up to 6 digits. Based on that, we can start from 1 also. 1 to 100 also we can give. Up to 6 digits means we can give 1 to 100 also. But purpose, I have started with 1 lakh because the smallest number containing 6 digits is 1 lakh. This is only for the uniformity purpose, so that every GL account contains 6 digits. That's why I have started from 1 lakh for from account. Then to account, I have given 1 lakh 99 because there is a need to create 100 GL accounts under the share capital. Every GL account is identified with one number. So 100 GL accounts, 100 numbers. That's why I have taken to account 1 lakh 99. Suppose if there is a need to create 500 GL accounts, you enter 1 lakh to 1 lakh 500. As simple as that. But the question here is, how do we decide how many number of GL accounts you have to create under the share capital as a consultant? As a consultant, we don't decide. Here, the accounts department will tell you, right, how many number of GL accounts they are maintaining relating to share capital in the present system of accounting. So for that existing number, we add some buffer, keeping in view the future expansion requirements of your client company. Then we decide the 2 number. So in our class, just like that, I am maintaining 100 range. This is called range from 2. Then chart of accounts is equal to 3366. Then account group RSPL, reserves and surpluses. From account is 100 100 to 100 199. Here every account group has to have a separate number range. One number range cannot be used for multiple account groups. So for share capital we have given 1 lakh to 1 lakh 99. So for reserves and surpluses I have started from 1 lakh 100. You cannot start from 1 lakh 99 because numbers cannot be overlapping. Do one thing. Okay, I will tell you at the end of the class to write. Then chart of accounts 3366. ACDL. I have used just like that. So account group is equal to ACDL. Name is equal to accumulated depreciation. From account is 100 200 to 100 299. Chart of accounts 3366. SCLN secured loans. From account is 1 lakh 300 to 1 lakh 399. Chart of accounts 3366. CLPR, sorry, UNSL I think. Unsecured loans. From account is 100 400 to 100 499. Chart of accounts 3366. CLPR, current liabilities and provisions. From account is 100 500 to 100 599. Then chart of accounts 3366. FAST, fixed assets. From account is 200,000 to 200,099. Now, why I have started from 200,000 for fixed assets? I will tell you two reasons. Here I told you that during any fiscal year, we can add the account groups, right? So for example, next year, you may have to add some more account groups on the liability side. In that case, account group should have the number. Without number range, you cannot define the account group, right? So in order to accommodate another account group on the liability side, I have left over all the numbers from 1,600,000 to 1,99,999 because fixed assets is the asset side, right? That is one reason. Now, from the user point of view, every GL account whose number starts with 1 is a liability account. Just observe this. Share capital, reserves and surpluses, accumulated depreciation, secured loans, unsecured loans, current liabilities. These are all your liability side. So every GL account which starts with the number 1 is a liability account. So user can easily understand. Then every GL account which starts with the 2 is an asset account. That's why I have started from 2 lakhs for the fixed assets. Then chart of accounts 3366, CAST, current assets, loans and advances. From account is 2,100,000 to 2,199,000. Chart of accounts 3366, sale. Now you have moved to income side of name sales. Now I'm starting with 3 lakhs to 3,99,000. So every GL account which starts with 3 is a revenue account. 6. Then OTHR, other incomes. From account is 3,100,000 to 3,199,000. Chart of accounts 3366. INCR, increase or decrease of stocks. From account is 3,200,000 to 3,299,000. Chart of accounts 3366. RMCN, raw material consumption. From account is 4 lakhs to 4,99,000. Chart of accounts 3366. PRSN, personal cost. From account is 4,100,000 to 4,199,000. Chart of accounts 3366. MFRG, manufacturing cost. From account is 4,200,000 to 4,299,000. Chart of accounts 3366. ADMM, administration cost. From account is 4,300,000 to 4,399,000. Chart of accounts 3366. INTR, interest. From account is 4,400,000 to 4,499,000. Chart of accounts 3366. DEPR, depreciation. From account is 4,500,000 to 4,599,000. Click on save. So for our training class purpose, we have created 17 account groups. Now let me explain other points relating to these account groups. So how these account groups are related to our company code? At the time of creating any group, we did not give any company code, right? Then how they are related to our company code? See, for each account group, you have given the chart of accounts, right? So in the previous step, right, we have assigned the chart of accounts 3366 to our company code. So all these account groups are related to our company code. And suppose we have A company code, B company code, C company code, right? And all the 3 company codes are using same chart of accounts. Means what? For all the 3 company codes, we assign the same chart of accounts 3366, right? In the previous screen. Then these account groups will be applicable to all the 3 company codes. That is what I told you in the chart of accounts. When several company codes are using the same chart of accounts, the account group will be same in all the company codes. That is one point. Now, here every account group operate a number range. One number range cannot be given for multiple account groups. Please write down this point here. One second. Here you have some space in your material. Right? Please write down here. Otherwise, below the material also you can write. Wherever you find the space, you write. Every account group should have a separate number range. Every account group should have a separate number range. Now, one more thing here is, one more point I want to explain is, look at the screen everybody please. For share capital, we have defined 1 lakh to 1,99,000. Okay. Then immediately for reserves and surpluses, you have started from 1,100,000. Now, during one fiscal year, under the share capital, we have created all 100 GL accounts. Still, there is a need to create some more GL accounts, but your number range is exhausted. In that case, what to do? Without number, you cannot create the GL account. And the number range for share capital is over. Still, there is a need to create some more GL accounts under the share capital. That's why what we do is, in the real time, at the time of deciding these numbers, you keep some more buffer between the number ranges of two account groups. For example, for share capital, we have taken 1 lakh to 1,99,000. Then for reserves and surpluses, you can start from 1,01,000. 1,01,000. So that if the need arises, you can create some more GL accounts. Even if the number range is exhausted, we can extend the number of the account group. That's how in the real time, for every account group, you keep some more buffer. These are the points I want to explain further, right? So we have defined the account groups. So remaining things we will see in tomorrow's class. Akila, you have any question? Yeah, I'm coming, Chandrasekhar. See, if you have the question to the current topic, you can just like that type it in the chat box. No issues. Akila, you have any questions? Okay. Anil? Okay. Chandrasekhar, tell me, what's your question?
Yes, sir. You told that if share capital 1,99,000 is over, we can extend this 1,100,000 to 1,01,000, so that the first group extends. Hello?
Yes, yes, I'm listening to you.
In that case, suppose I've already used RSPL account number also, and I've created GLs under the RSPL.
That's why.
Then I can.
No. What I'm telling is, for the reserves and surpluses, see, at the time of the creation itself, right? For the reserves and surpluses.
Oh, at the time of.
Yeah. Not after creation, right? At the time of creating account groups itself, for reserves and surpluses, you start from 1,01,000.
Oh.
Got it, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. And one more question, yes, sir. Can you explain what is increased consumption G group?
See,
I have some doubt.
Yeah. So the increase or decrease of stocks are used when we transfer the finished goods stocks from one location to another location, or when we transfer the finished goods from plant to finished goods warehouse. So the GL accounts are to be updated from SD, right?
Okay.
We discuss elaboratedly at the time of SD integration.
Okay, thank you.
Gadi, you have any questions?
Sir, I have one question.
Tell me.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, when you are creating a business area and the company code, you have told that some line of activity like manufacturing of chemical, manufacturing of paper and all.
Yeah.
Okay, now today you have told that those, groups, group in the sense line of activity as a company code. How can it possible? Under one company code, can we create a line of activities, or one line of activity itself can we create as a company code?
No, no, no. See, here under the same name, right? If you are doing the business, suppose you are the Tata Steels Limited, right? So under the same
Okay.
name, you are doing the business in the iron extraction, right? That is one line of activity. Then,
Okay.
then iron sheets manufacturing, that is another line of activity. Okay. So in that case,
Okay.
remember
Okay.
the name of under the same name, right? We have the two lines of activities. In that case, each line of activity is a maybe a business area or a profit center based on the situation. Till now clear?
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
coming to the same example. In order to do the iron ore extraction, right, we have created a separate legal entity. Okay?
Okay.
That's a company code. Then, in order to manufacture iron sheets, you have set up a separate legal entity. That is your another company code. So, for two line of activities, you have set up a separate two legal entities. For example, Tata Steel Extraction Limited, Tata Steel Sheets Manufacturing Limited. In that case, Tata Steel Extraction is a company code which is used to carry on the activity of steel extraction, and Tata Steel Sheets Manufacturing Company Limited is another company code. This is a separate legal entity which is set up for manufacturing of the steel sheets. See, in the name of the under the same name, if you are carrying on different activities, each line of activity may be a profit center or business area. But in order to carry on each line of activity, if they have set up a separate legal entity, then that separate legal entity will be created as one company code. Got it now?
Yeah, I got it. Is there any mandatory from the government to create, if you want to do a different business, you have to create a separate legal entity, right, sir?
Yes. Yes. Generally,
You can't, like that, you can't do that.
One second. Generally, what happens is, at the time of formation of your company, you have to submit your memorandum of association, right? So in the memorandum of association, you have one clause, objective clause. So in the objective clause, we have to specify which type of businesses we are going to deal. Suppose you are expanding your business on the basis of your objective clause, then there is no need for separate legal entity. Suppose if you want to start a business which is not there in your objective clause, then you have to set up a legal entity. You are not permitted to start a business which was not there in your. Teja, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Yeah. Within 2 minutes you get the material, Masaileja. Okay then. See you tomorrow same time. Good night and good day. Okay. Okay, Rani. So we are in basic settings. In the previous class, we have completed account groups. Step number 3.3, we have completed in the previous class. Now, step number 3.4, define retained earnings account. So first I will explain what is the concept of retained earnings account. One second, let me close all other materials. Yes, Gadi. So first I will explain what is the concept of retained earnings account. See, retained earnings account. While creating the expenses accounts and incomes accounts, we have to specify the profit loss account type. That's why it is compulsory to create one retained earnings account. We can define any number of profit loss account types. For example, operating profit and loss account to know the operating profit, and non-operating profit and loss account to know the non-operating profit or loss. At the end of the year, the balances in these profit and loss accounts will be taken to the balance sheet. Means here we create some number of GL accounts. Among them, there are some expense accounts, some incomes accounts. But at the time of creating the incomes accounts and expense accounts, you may have to specify the profit loss account type. Like whether that GL account is related to operating profit and loss account, or whether the GL account is related to non-operating profit or loss. So if the requirement is to display operating profit separately and non-operating profit separately, then we have to define two profit loss account types. If necessary, we can define any number of profit loss account types, but minimum there should be one profit loss account type. If you don't create the profit loss account type, later on you cannot create the GL account master records. Suppose you have created two profit loss account types, operating profit and loss account and non-operating profit and loss account. Operating profit and loss account and non-operating loss account. Then the balance in these two profit and loss account types will be transferred to balance sheet at the end of the year. So first let us do the step, then again I will explain. May I know who is this just now joined as ASH? Ash? May I know who is this? May I know who is this ASH? Ash? One second. Yeah, may I know who is this Ash? Okay. So first let us define the retained earnings account, then we will see the other things relating to retained earnings account. Transaction code OB13. Sorry, OB53. Transaction code OB53 / and OB53. Chart of accounts is equal to 3366. Chart of accounts is equal to 3366. P&L statement account type is equal to X. We can give any identification. X, just like that I'm giving X. Account is 100 100. Account is 100 100. So why I have given the account number 100 100? See, the balance in the P&L account is displayed on the liability side of the balance sheet under the heading reserves and surpluses. See, the balance in the P&L account is displayed on the liability side under the heading reserves and surpluses. So this account is to be created under the account group reserves and surpluses. So for this reserves and surpluses account group, we have defined the number ranges 100 100 to 100 199. That's why I have taken this 100 100 now. That is the reason. But technically speaking, you can take any number between these two numbers. Click on save. And this is called warning message. See, account 100 100 not created in the chart of accounts 3366. It is called warning message. Actually, we have given the GL account number only here. We did not create the GL account. That's why it is giving this warning message. The GL account is created later on in the general ledger accounting. But for the time being, it is only a warning message, right? So you can just ignore it. To ignore the warning message, I told you to click on enter button. Now, here I told you that based on the client requirement, we can create any number of profit loss account types. Why? Let us take one example. See, for example, in the balance sheet, we have to display operating profit separately and non-operating profit separately. So how do we derive operating profit and how do we derive non-operating profit? We have to maintain two profit loss account types. So to derive the operating profit loss account, we have to maintain one GL account, operating profit loss account. Let us say this is type X. So this is 1,100,000. Then we have to define one more GL account, non-operating profit loss account. Let us say this is type Y and this number is 101,101. So we define two profit loss account types. But what is operating profit and what is non-operating profit? Here, operating profit or loss, it is the difference between operating revenues and operating expenses. Operating revenues means, again, these are the revenues generated from the main business operations of the company. Example, sales. So sales revenue is always called operating revenues. Then operating expenses. These are the expenses which are incurred to run the main business, like rent, wages, salaries, etc., etc. So all the expenses which are incurred to run your business are called operating expenses. So the difference between operating revenues and operating expenses is called operating profit or loss. Then coming to non-operating profit or loss, it is the difference between non-operating revenues and non-operating expenses. Again, what is the non-operating revenue? Okay, Ash. Okay, no problem. You continue in this class. Okay. You listen to this class, then we will see. Now, so non-operating profit or loss, it is the difference between non-operating revenues and non-operating expenses. Now, non-operating revenues means these are the revenues generated from the business operations which are not related to main business. Example, dividend on shares if the main business is textiles manufacturing. Here, our main business is, we are in the textiles manufacturing. So, we produce the textile products, we sell them. Then we get some revenue. That is called sales revenue. So, this is operating revenue. Now, this year, we are having some surplus funds. So, instead of keeping these surplus funds in the bank account, we have invested in the shares of other companies. Then, at the end of the year, that other company has declared the dividend. This is called non-operating revenue, because your main business is not making the investments in other companies. Your main business is textiles manufacturing. But because we are having some surplus funds, you invest in the shares of other companies, so you receive some revenue. That is the non-operating revenue. But if your main business itself is making the investments in other companies, yours is an investment company, then the dividend income will be operating revenue. That's how you have to decide whether the revenue is operating or non-operating. So if the revenue is related to main business, that is operating, otherwise non-operating. Then non-operating expenses. So these are the expenses incurred to earn non-operating revenues. Example, brokerage paid on purchase of shares. So in order to purchase the shares,